to be the last time we do this. And hopefully it's going to be the last time that Louis van Gaal is in charge of the mighty Manchester United also. But time will tell if that is to be the case or not. So as we build up to this most important game for Manchester United, I would urge you to hold back on your excitement for a few moments as I just prepare to go live on the United stand. And it is live. Okay. 2, 3, 1. Hello and welcome to United Stand. Mark Goldbridge messing around as per usual there. Going to get the live comments section up for you at the moment. Team news in. Want to talk about Mourinho. Also want to talk about David De Gea as well. Been saying this for a while. If you keep Van Gaal, you're definitely going to keep. We're definitely going to lose. Not Louis Van Gaal. We're going to lose. If we keep Van Gaal, we're going to lose De Gea. That's what I'm trying to say. Badly. But for the moment, I want to just try and get the live comments up, and I don't understand where that has gone, which is rather annoying because we like to have those, but never easy. Let me just sort it out. If you're live, I apologise. It will be up because I know this is a very big part of the show for very many of our loyal viewers, and we need to have it up. So let me get it going. Select event, Manchester United v Bournemouth. We're up. There we go. Perfection. There we go. Okay, welcome to the United Stand. Happy to be here. A bit funny to be here. Hopefully you're all watching. You are. Good. Okay, I didn't even know if I was actually live there. But the Manchester United team news, it's just flashed up on the screen as well. De Gea in goal, Valencia, Smalling, Blind, Borthwick-Jackson, Carrick and Rooney centre midfielders, Lengard, Mata, Martial, Rashford up front, subs of Romero, Jones, Varela, Herrera, Pereira, Young, Depay. Essentially, and I throw this over to you straight away, it is the same lineup as Sunday, and it's the same bench as well. I'm quite surprised, to be honest. I thought that he might just play others. We've got a really good final on Saturday, hopefully, and I thought he would rest other players, but obviously not. So, over to you. What do you think about that? Dorothy's not happy about the comments placement. Well, you know what? What do you want me to do about it? I'm live on my own as per fucking usual. So what do you want to do? It's alright to come moaning on the comments section, but if people want to come and help, they can come and help. That's about as good as it's going to get. So you can like it or lump it. So yeah, I'm a bit surprised by the lineup, but what can you do about it? I thought he might rest a few players, but I suppose we're going for the 19-0, aren't we? It can still be done. I don't know why Man City fans are gloating so much. They're going to have egg on their face a little bit later tonight, that's for sure, when we win 19-0. But we'll see. Just want to say as well, thanks everybody for joining us on the Watchalong. FA Cup on Saturday. FA Cup Watchalong will be starting at 5:30. However, we will be on air from about 1 o'clock. We've got loads of stuff planned, which I'm not about to release now, so others can just go and copy what we're doing. Wink, wink. But we have got a lot to do on Saturday, and hopefully you're going to join us. When I was younger in the FA Cup, it used to start at 9 o'clock in the morning with Going Live or Alive and Kicking, and it would go all the way through till 3 o'clock. Loads of shows and everything like that. We're trying to replicate that. See, Dorothy's saying sorry now. Yes, well, right, he should. I was only joking anyway. I'm a very good actor. But yes, so we'll be on air from about 1 o'clock on Saturday. That's 4.5 hours before. I'm not going to tell you what we've got, but it's not going to just be in the studio. Let's just say that. We've got a lot going on. I think you're going to really enjoy it. It's going to be very interactive. So that's positive. Do join us for that. Callum will be joining me in a moment. I want to talk about the lineup. Obviously, I think this game's a dead duck. You know what? If you're watching tonight, you're like me, you're a proper Manchester United fan because there's nothing to play for. I can't wait to see how many people turn up. I hope United play quite well. I'm very, very curious. Yeah, Drawty's right. Zara is at the game, and it is her birthday today, so happy birthday to Zara. I'm sure they'll be beaming it live at Old Trafford as we speak. Hello to the 5 people there. But yes, we'll talk about the little game. I want to talk about Mourinho and De Gea, obviously. But Louis van Gaal, as Canal is saying there, what's the story with Louis van Gaal? I'm a bit worried. Football Focus on Grandstand back in the day. Yeah, exactly that's what we're going for on Saturday. 1 o'clock, 4.5 hours before kickoff. You just dip in throughout the day, watch it with us. They've got loads going on. You're going to really enjoy it. I've filmed a top 5 FA Cup final. We've got some exclusive shows that are going to be on the show on Saturday, as well as some stuff that I think you're going to really enjoy. So do join us for that. But enough of that. Let's talk about United for a minute. Dead rubber game. I am slightly frustrated, and I will defend United on one point. I was thinking about this the other day. It really frustrated me that I think the Manchester City game should have been abandoned. I really do, because I think they only drew that game 1-1. We blew it ourselves. I totally agree with that. We blew it ourselves. But I was saying last week against West Ham a week ago, why did we give in when we were losing? A point would have been absolutely fine. If we'd got a point last week and won tonight, we would have got 4th place. We're going to win tonight and finish on the same points as City with a rubbish goal difference. And as we know, they'll get it over us. So what can we do about that? But 4 a.m. in the morning, says the Andy09. That is real credible. You're all brilliant Manchester United fans for tuning in. I'm not going to deny that. But yeah, I was a little bit disappointed with. I've lost the thing now. We are still streaming live, I hope. Why would that go off? Apologies for that. Let me know if you're still there, because we've got all sorts of problems at the moment. No, don't know what's going on there. Sorry, I hope we are live, because I have got no idea why the live comment section's just gone. And I don't want to lose that, because it's obviously very important to the show. Maybe get it back. We've got it back. That is very good. Yeah, so I just felt that I never thought City were going to beat Swansea. It was a draw, as we all know. And then they had that opportunity on Sunday with no pressure. Now imagine if we played tonight and City had their game put back 2 games. We're 2 or 3-0 up at half time. They know it's just added pressure. They had no pressure on them, is what I'm trying to say. And I think it was poor of the Premier League. I really do. But we are where we deserve. I'm clutching at straws, I know. But I don't know. I don't want to be too negative about the lineup. But I did think, big game on Saturday. Why risk players in a non-event game? I suppose if we lose, we don't get. It just shows you how important money is to Manchester United, that they've still put the first team out when we only need a point at home to get 5th. It's all about the money at United. I've said that for a long time, and it is a little bit sad. On the point of Van Gaal, I'll touch on it very, very quickly. When it comes to Van Gaal, he is. I just do not know what's going to happen with Van Gaal. I think. I want him to go. Obviously, we all want him to go. But is there? I said this today. I was talking to Jordy Devil earlier, and I said, I've got Callum.
Yeah.
Hi, Callum. You all right? Let's see if we can get you up on the actual stream. He says you should just come up straight away. Hello. Okay, you there? Everyone should be able to hear you. I was just talking. I'll just finish up what I was on about, and then bring you in on the lineup. But I was saying there. I mean, with Woodward, I just worry that we'll win the FA Cup, and then in a moment of positivity, he'll try and say Van Gaal's staying, and there'll be a wave of positivity. I tell you what, if he tries that, there'll be a big wave going over his head as he gets chucked into the Atlantic Ocean, because I just do not care what else happens. He's got to go. We'll touch on the Mourinho thing anyway, but Callum's not been on for a while anyway, so welcome to the show, Callum. But the lineup, what were your thoughts, not knowing what I've said about it?
I think there was no circumstance in which he was going to change it. I mean,
all right.
I think personally, I think he should have played youth, but because of the circumstances of the last game being so coincidental, if City lost, then it would have been he'd have to put strong team out. But I think he's kind of said to the players that we're going to need to play you in this game, because I promised you that I'd play you against this team. So, although I'd love to see youth, I think it would be unfair on the players more than anything if he changed the team.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. I personally thought he wouldn't. He wasn't going to play the team he's picked because I thought 4 days off, the FA Cup final, a bit of a dead rubber game. But as I was just saying there, it just shows you exactly why it's about money, because fifth place is obviously so important that worst case scenario, Smalling pulls his hamstring, Martial gets a bad tackle. I don't want that to happen, but obviously they're two big players for us. And then you go, well, why did he risk him? It's very, 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 very risky. I mean, from a spectator's point of view, it's good. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with Van Gaal. Chris Coyne says Giggs is a snake. I don't know what Giggs has done, but Van Gaal. I mean, we're going to touch on Mourinho now. Mourinho, Sky Sports. God, they're turning into the Daily Star, aren't they? Friday they're saying there's no agreement. Today they're saying the job's Mourinho's if he wants it, but then you read the article, it doesn't say that. I mean, I did a video today, it's out on the United Stand. If you get a chance to have a watch of it, do have a watch of it. And basically my first line is, the latest on Mourinho is, who bloody knows? And I think we know as much as the press know, which is nothing. And it sells papers, it definitely does. I don't think we're going to find out anything out until after the FA Cup. And I'm very much in the air. I'm just trying to be positive that Mourinho is going to happen. I don't know what your thoughts are on it, Callum.
I think it's more than certain now that Mourinho, it's going to happen. It really is. I mean, as soon as we didn't get top four, every rumour and every speculation was going to come out that Van Gaal's leaving, Mourinho's on. And Sky Sports have been absolutely atrocious today. I mean, they're just showing how badly they are off with Man United transfers. They used to be a reliable source, and they're horrible. I mean, Mourinho is the obvious choice, and them saying, Sky Sports coming out and saying that if Van Gaal leaves, then Mourinho will come in, is a bit like saying water's wet and grass is green, because it's stupid. So I think that I think if we win the FA Cup, I think he's going to stay. I mean, we're no Arsenal. We don't settle for fourth place in an FA Cup. That's not Man United. And what Schmeichel said earlier about United being bored to death of Man United, that's the fan. That's a fan's view. That's from the stands. And I completely agree. I think Mourinho is the obvious choice. He guarantees a Premier League title. Although Van Gaal's won Premier League titles elsewhere, he's never really. He can't do it in England because he's outdated. So I think that Mourinho is a definite choice in. I think he knows how to win a football match. This deluded Dutchman doesn't, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I do hope that you're right about that. I really do. But another thing that sort of feeds into that we're talking about this morning on Twitter was about De Gea. I read the article before we came on air because I've been very busy today, and I've not really had a chance to catch up on things, so I did it before we came on air. And it's in the Guardian, so there is some credibility there. But basically, De Gea not happy at United, not happy under Van Gaal, wants to move on is the story. But you read a little bit more, and it's a little bit more about Champions League. Doesn't want to be battling for Champions League, and that's part of the reason that he wants to go. But if Mourinho comes in, he might stay. Same agent is what I've been saying for a long time. Although when De Gea signed the new deal last year, I can't remember whether it was us talking about it or not, but I do remember saying the reason the length of the contract just smacked to me that there was a buyout clause there anyway, and I wouldn't be surprised if 40 million offer comes in from Real Madrid, because he's one of the players in Manchester. He's one of two Manchester United, probably maybe three United players if you count Smalling, who've actually enhanced their reputation in a very poor season. If I was Madrid, I'd happily pay the 40 million, and then it's up to De Gea whether he wants to stay or not. And I've always felt that he might go. I think our only saving grace is if we get Mourinho in because of the same agent stuff.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, De Gea at the start of the season, we were so thankful that we kept him, and we knew that keeping him the next season was I don't know. I think last season as soon as we kept him, we kind of knew that this is our last season with him. It was another sort of Ronaldo situation where we just skinned our teeth. He literally just stayed because of a fax machine, which was probably saved our season in truth. But I mean, we know that Van Gaal's not the manager that you want, and you know that De Gea deserves better. And we've known the players like De Gea, Smalling, Martial. There's so many players that have deserved better than Van Gaal's football. So De Gea going in the summer, I'm not. I obviously I don't want him to go. I don't want him to go. I love him as a Man United player. But I've come to the sympathetic, accepting fact of that him leaving is best for him, and him leaving is the best. It's the best decision for him, and he deserves a better club than Man United at the minute. And I'd never say that in the world, because Man United, we are supposed to be one of the biggest clubs in the world, and at the minute, our reputation is like Liverpool. You know what I mean? We're a club in decline, so it's no surprise that De Gea is being rumoured to leave.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that at all. I think you couldn't. I don't want him to leave. I think if he'd gone last year, I was slightly against him. But I think if he goes after this year, he's enjoyed. Last year we qualified for Europe. This year we haven't, and he's got every reason to go if he wants to go. I don't think anybody could really complain about that. But whether he will go, I think there's a lot dependent. I just don't think the decision to keep Van Gaal holds any weight. Any logical rocket scientist would say, well, it's not rocket science, is what I was going to say, is that if they announce Van Gaal staying after the FA Cup, I think there's a lot of people holding back on season tickets. There'll be a lot of people not buying merchandise. Ibrahimovic wouldn't come. De Gea could go. Mourinho won't come. I think for a club that's very money motivated and not really about fan opinion, I just think fans mean money and excitement means money. And if you get Mourinho, you might get Ibrahimovic again, but you're going to get a lot of good players come in and a lot of excitement. I just think it beggars belief why we wouldn't do it. Any chance of us getting a 19-0 win, Callum?
Quickly before I answer that question, I just want to say it's kind of, I just watched you here on Sky Sports, it's kind of disappointing, because the under-21s have won the league, and because of Van Gaal's football and because of everything on Tuesday, they've been able to celebrate in front of 5,000 fans, which is something they don't deserve in a way. And I just wanted to point that out there, so I've just seen it on TV. But sorry, what was your question again? I thought the question.
Oh no, I was just saying that it's.
Oh yeah, 19-0, right. If we are ahead 11-0 at half time, which is, I don't know, I mean, we need 2 goals every 10 minutes, and United haven't scored how many goals in the first half? I mean, it's 0-0 every time at first half, so it's a dream, and it's 2,500 to 1 on to happen. So, although Van Gaal will probably think there's a chance of it happening, but Champions League was gone every time United bottled it. And the amount of times that we've been given Champions League and it's been handed to us back into our own hands, and we bottled it. I mean, it's a joke. I mean, we shouldn't be bottling that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, 19-0 is impossible. 19-0 won't happen. If it's 11-0 at half time, I will happily eat a sock. I don't know why I said a sock, but oh well.
I'm just messing around with this live comment box again because it's doing my head in. But Cameron Borthwick-Jackson starts. That was one of the questions from the live comment box. Happy that he's starting. I presume Rojo is still injured anyway.
Yeah, it's always good to see a youngster back in his side. I mean, Borthwick-Jackson's he hasn't had a bad season. He's a youngster. He's just come in, so you can't really say anything bad about him. I mean, he's had maybe one or two bad games, but overall he's been average like the rest of the Man United team under Van Gaal. So I've got no problems with Borthwick-Jackson. I think, to be honest, I prefer to see Borthwick-Jackson at left back rather than Rojo, because Rojo, oh god, he's a defensive nightmare at left back, and it's so dire to watch. At centre back, I think Rojo's fine. I think he's all right. I've got no problem with him at centre back. But it's when he goes on to that left back where he looks like he's going to get beaten every time by a defender. Every ball is 40 yards in the air. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, Rojo at left back it just doesn't work, and it shouldn't be a position which he should be playing. Personally, I think. No,
I think he's cost us a lot of goals this season, Rojo. Leicester. The sad thing is, and I think things become so. And I've lost that live comment box again. I don't know why it keeps going. I'll keep getting it back up. Don't worry. I'm very perseverant. But I think the frustration for me is that maybe United fans won't. I hope they won't fall into this trap of being. You can forget the past, and as I've said so many times, we're going to lose this. If we beat Bournemouth, which I think we will do, we're going to miss out on 4th place playing as bad as we have on goal difference. And you think about all the bad points we've given away. December is one criminal thing that he should have been sacked for anyway. Norwich and Bournemouth and teams like that. Obviously, we had the easy Champions League group, which he blew, which is number 2. I think that was unforgivable. We had West Ham the other night, which we just didn't even fight for. That was unforgivable as well. We've had the 2 legs against Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool may well win the Europa League tomorrow night, and I will forever blame Van Gaal for that, because I know they've gone on and won other games and they've got where they deserve because they've won other games, but they've also we also had 2 games to knock them out of that tournament, and when they're our biggest rival, I think that comes down on us big time.
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, Man United have bottled it over 10 or 15 times, I know. And I mean, if we lose tonight, it kind of puts in perspective that this is the worst ever points which we've ended on in a Premier League season. So that just epitomises what Van Gaal has been this season. And when we signed him, we said, you know what, we'll have the title in 2 or 3 years. That's what he said. He said we'll have the title in 2 or 3 years. But the problem is when the first transitional season was done and we had Champions League, that was content. That was the first season back. That's fine. But when it comes into the second and third season, you've got to be challenging for the title, not be 1 in 4th again. And I think that United have had a poor season. They've bottled it too many times. They've had games. And United, the problem is United have turned up against the big teams. But it's against the small teams which they've kind of bottled it. I mean, we drew to Newcastle 0-0 at home. We got knocked out by Liverpool in the Europa League when we were at home. The first 20 minutes of that was like, we're going to go at them, we're going to give it to them. We went 1-0 up. And then it just kind of shut down. And the teams are just coming out now. So I don't know what's going to happen tonight. I mean, tonight is a nothing game. Oh, they're doing this X-Men promotion thing again, aren't they? Really? It just shows what the club is, isn't it? It's just more of a corporation promotion rather than a football club anymore, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously we can't comment on what's on the screen, Callum.
Oh, sorry.
I think it's more for match stuff, but there you go. Doesn't matter. But yeah, it's I don't know. Yeah, we are just all about the money. You're right. It's I think the first team's playing tonight because even though 5th is an embarrassment to us, I suppose if they lose, I mean, I haven't looked at the league title because it's depressing, but I think if we do lose, we come 7th, so we'd have to win the FA Cup. I mean, I think a lot of us have always been confident that we're going to win the FA Cup, but who knows? I think it's going to be interesting because we haven't seen us play since last Tuesday night, which was an absolute disgrace. Good point from Nickel. It is quite empty. There's a lot of people there, but it's not. I'd be interested to know what the actual attendance is. There's a few things interesting about this game, though. Is it Carrick's last game at Old Trafford? Is it Van Gaal's last game at Old Trafford? We won't know whether it's Van Gaal's, but Carrick might come at the end and say something about it. We'll certainly stay on air to see if anything happens about that. But kids are coming out blue because of something to do with X-Men, apparently. That's what Callum was saying. Yeah.
It's the new movie out, X-Men Apocalypse. So.
Connor says I'm clueless because we won't come 7th if we lose, but I always like to check things. And
if we draw or win tonight, it's 5th place, automatic group stages to the Europa League. Yay!
Yeah, Connor's right. We're in 6th position at the moment, so. Because West Ham obviously they must have lost to Stoke then. I don't keep an eye out on the clubs, but I know at one point we were 7th on Sunday, so I think West Ham must have blown it against Stoke. So yeah, we are in West Ham. That's poor for them to have finished 7th behind Southampton. I mean, Southampton have had a really good finish to the season because I think West Ham have really bottled that, and they beat us last week as well. Unbelievable. I think West Ham deserved to finish above Southampton, but. Funny old game. Yeah, so all we need is a point and we finish 5th, which is the last Europa place. But funnily enough, if we then win the FA Cup on Saturday, I presume Southampton get a place, or does it go to the runners-up? I don't know.
It's a strange one. I mean, I think if I think 5th automatically get it. The winners of the FA Cup, the winners of the Carling League Cup, get a place, and I think 6th. I'm not sure. No, yeah, I think 6th get qualification. So 6th get qualification, 5th get automatic. Winners of the League Cup and then winners of the FA Cup, But if the winners of the League Cup and the FA Cup are already in the Champions League or the Europa League, I think it's Champions League, then the position below, the next highest position below in the league, gets the FA Cup or something like that. It's complicated.
Okay, I'm just trying out the time there, which will start when the game starts, but it hasn't started yet, so I'll reset that and knock it off. Well, we're trying our best, and as I was saying before Callum came on, I think anybody who's joined us for this watch along, it is you are the proper fans, because there's a big shot there of Carrick. Apparently, somebody's just said. I'll do a video if Carrick goes. That's what I would say, is because I think he's an absolute legend. And touching very quickly, just before I think we're just about to kick off. I think it's an absolute farce that he's not in the England squad, Callum.
Who, Carrick?
Yeah, you might disagree. I know Alex does, but I just think
misused
most misused English midfielder in the last 10 years, and Hodgson's excuse that he's missed out because of injury and then he's picked Dow from Wiltshire and Henderson, it just sickens me. And he retired from international football about 3 years ago. Hodgson made him come back and then has not taken him to either squad. It's ridiculous. So we're up and running anyway. But I mean, I'm more than happy for you to have your thoughts on that at some point, because I think it's an absolute farce.
I think Hodgson's made a lot of mistakes with the England squad. I think the England squad's always been primarily based on name rather than form. I mean, I texted you the other day and I said about Antonio not getting picked, and obviously you said Antonio Valencia, but I meant Antonio that played for West Ham.
I didn't realise. I would have guessed that Antonio at West Ham wasn't English either.
No,
I mean, I don't even know his age though, so that's just ignorance on my part. So, but yeah, there's a few West Ham players and players linked to West Ham like Carrick and Defoe, who probably did deserve to go. It's very empty at Old Trafford, just looking at that picture there. Which, you know what? Who can blame them? It's a dead rubber game. It is a dead rubber game. I think the Premier League messed up massively by not cancelling the City game, but I know that would have caused a lot of problems. But I would say that that's about half full. But it's got the look of a League Cup game in September rather than a... But there's nothing on this game. I think the players will... I mean, what's your score prediction? We've not even done that. I mean, we are trying our best, everybody. We really are trying our best, and we have done a watch-along. But...
it's hard to get motivated for a game like this, because, I mean, it means nothing. I mean, Van Gaal's trying to big it up like it means something. I think he said in his pre-match conference that something about trying to get fifth. And, like, we United fans don't care about fifth or sixth. I don't care about fifth or sixth, and that's probably why it's empty. I mean, no one cares about where we are in the league anymore. And it's not that we don't love the club, it's that you want to see it do better, and it's
well, the way I understood it, it's free entry tonight, because everybody who had a ticket on Sunday could come back for free. But, you know, if somebody just posted up there that it's 50,000 people there, so that's nearly a third haven't turned up for a free ticket. It's a big sign to Woodward that LVG needs to go.
Yeah, well...
Because you know what? I wasn't one of them people there, obviously, because I don't go to games because I do the United stand. But I would have gone. It's a lovely day over here in England for those who are not watching. Not in England, obviously. And it's a lovely evening in Manchester. I actually was up there this afternoon for something else. So I would have gone. But a lot of people obviously don't fancy it, which is odd. But I can't blame them. I wonder how many will stay behind to listen to his chat at the end.
No, I don't think a lot will. I mean, but why would we want to hear what he said? What he to be honest, when I put out a tweet, it must have been a couple of weeks ago, about Pellegrini. Now I can't understand why City fans all left for Pellegrini when he's got such a respectable. And obviously I know he's a City manager, but he's won the league for them. He's done so much for them. Personally, got them into the Champions League semi-final, and for them to leave then, I think that was disrespectful. But against Van Gaal, I mean, he's making this club look like a laughing stock and a joke. I mean, obviously the bomb thing was a little bit... The bomb thing the other week was a little bit silly, but of course it's a training device. It was a training device again, which made the club look more of a laughing stock. So staying behind for Van Gaal will be... I don't think no one will. I think it will go down to about 25,000. I think everyone will leave. The
only thing that will keep them is a bit of clever publicity and maybe saying that it's Carrick's last game, but I haven't heard that at all, so I don't know whether that is the case, but we'll just have to see what happens. But from a game point of view, it is up and running, and that's a bit of a wayward pass there. I mean, the United players have certainly got their they've got their just rewards from being managed by Louis van Gaal. I mean, Mata, another one today who's not made it into the Euros squad for Spain. Schneiderlin, who he was there in this French squad when we signed him, he's not made it. Carrick, who we've just discussed. I'm not going to say by any means that Carrick's had a very good season. I just think that he's better. I mean, Jordan Henderson makes me physically sick. I was quite excited about England, but there's a lot of players in that squad that I actually hate. But I can't imagine that deep down there's a lot of players that are happy with what's gone on, because they are the losers. They've lost out.
Yeah, I think as much as it's down to Van Gaal with players not being picked for internationals, I think it's more down to the players. I mean, personally, Mata and Schneiderlin, no hate on them, but I mean, Spain and France have got a really strong squad, and they pick the best players every single time. And we've seen Spain's midfield of like the likes of Iniesta and Busquets and the Barcelona and the Real Madrid players. And France's squad of Pogba, well, Kante's obviously got him because he's had a brilliant season. Matuidi, I mean, they've got strong midfield, so it's going to be difficult for them to get into the teams. So they need to be on their best form. And Man United this season have been poor, as we know. And obviously Martial's been picked for France because he's had a good season, scored 20 goals. So
what frustrates me is I was just watching a little bit of the game, and Rooney's sort of playing this next to Carrick defensive midfield position now. And obviously Rooney's in the England squad and Carrick isn't. And Rooney there has just done what he does every single game. The most pointless pass in world football. From the middle of the pitch, he does a Hollywood right pass over to the right back. It's not a forward pass, it's a sideways pass, and he does it 50 times a game. And everyone goes, oh, he's got such good passing. Now, Beckham used to do that sort of pass, but he used to do it forward and we'd create something from it. It's a rubbish pass. But then you watch what Carrick's doing, and Carrick always wants the ball off the back four. He's always looking to pass it forwards. Yes, he's coming towards the end of his career, but he's one of the. If he was Spanish or Italian, they would pick him every day of the week. And it just frustrates me that he's just been absolutely wasted. And to be honest, Rooney's probably going to be playing in the midfield, but he shouldn't be anywhere near the midfield. He's not a midfielder. Really, really interested to see what's going to happen with Rooney next season, because he'll definitely be at Manchester United. But I just don't see what his position is. I was listening to the radio today when I was driving back, and I think it was Paul Parker was saying, he said, Rooney shouldn't be in the starting 11 for Manchester United, for England. He's just not good enough. And when you look at it, he's played up front where the other week when we had to play him up front, totally bullied, not quick enough. I still think he might have a future at number 10 because he can be more attacking and get involved with that. But he's not a centre midfielder. We're not going to win anything with him as a centre midfielder. And I'd throw that out to everybody who's watching at the moment, because he's just not a centre midfielder for me, Rooney. But I imagine this game's really, really hard for Bournemouth because we're having loads of possession at the moment. Martial nearly was in then, but it must be hard for them. But quite a few of you watching, thanks for watching. I'm going to give you all a massive shout out, and I'm going to go through some of your comments to applaud you for watching more than I normally do, because this game is painful, and it's always going to be painful. So we'll be talking a lot about United and the weekend and stuff like that. But if you are watching us, please do drop us a like on the watch-alongs. We don't never seem to get many likes on the watch-alongs, and obviously it's the longest show with the most effort put into it, so it's nice to get the likes to feel appreciated, because we haven't decided whether we're going to carry on doing them next season. The FA Cup watch-along on Saturday could well be our last, so join us for that. And as I was saying before, there's quite a lot of you watching now. In the old days of the FA Cup, it used to start at like 12 o'clock, even though the kickoff was at 3 o'clock. So kickoff is 5:30 on Saturday. We're on air from about 1 o'clock, probably 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock. I haven't decided yet. But loads of shows, loads of interactivity, and a few big surprises and prizes for you to win. So join us from around either 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. We haven't decided yet, but we'll be on a good few hours before. So just dip in for 20 minutes before the game or whatever. Loads going on, so do get involved with that. But yeah, Valencia there. Yeah, pretty bad first touch of a brick wall, but
he's too one-dimensional, Valencia. I think I've never seen. I mean, every football you see nowadays plays with both feet, but if you put a gun to his head, he's still not going to use his left foot. I mean, I think I've only ever seen him use his left foot at Man United probably 2 or 3 times, and I like Valencia. I think he's strong on his right foot, and I think he's a brilliant player. But I mean, you look at when you watch him, he only can ever use his right foot, and I don't know how someone hasn't picked up on that and kind of like made him, I don't know, maybe adapted him to a left foot.
He had a good couple of seasons not that long ago, Valencia, and I play fantasy Premier League and all that lot, and he used to get loads of assists, and a lot of that was coming from crosses, etc. And just he couldn't. He's like Dracula. He's just terrible with crosses. I don't get Valencia at all. I like. We were talking about this the other day with somebody, and people get really offended when I say that Daley Blind shouldn't be playing for Manchester United, and I quantify that by saying I would never sell Ashley Young, Daley Blind, or Antonio Valencia, because they are 3 players that are absolutely imperative in a squad, and I think people forget that you've got to have a good squad. Football is all about having a good squad. Manchester United did it for years and years, and we need to get back to that. And if you want to win league titles, then Daley Blind cannot be a centre-back. He's shown that against West Ham and Spurs away. It will let you down. Same with Rojo, same with Valencia. They're not top first team players every game of the week, and that's my thoughts on them. But Daley Blind would still play 30 odd games a season because you're going to pick up injuries, and he can play left back well, he can play centre back well, and he can play centre midfield really well. So, and the same goes for Valencia, but they shouldn't. We're finishing in 5th place because we're picking people like Valencia at right back, Fellaini a lot. We've got too many players that we can't complain where we're coming, Callum, is where I'm getting at, because actually you mentioned Mata and Schneiderlin. I think there's reasons behind Schneiderlin not playing well, because the change in form is just ridiculous. But Mata's not been great. I'll agree with that. And we've got too many players that actually, regardless of the football, and I'd never defend Leo Van Gaal, regardless of the football, we've not got a good enough 11. There's too many, as many fans have said, there's too many square pegs in round holes.
Agreed. I mean, as you said about Daley Blind and Antonio Valencia, they are versatile players that can play anywhere, and you need them in the squad. But to say they're the first 11 players every week, that's not quality. I don't think they should be in the first 11. But I think they're good squad players. As you said, should play 30 games a week. Mata this season, he has been disappointing. I mean, I don't know. I think I've always agreed, and I've always agreed with Jose Mourinho's reason to sell him. So, I mean, Jose Mourinho picked the team which was quick and fast on the counter attack, and when Mata gets the ball, he always takes just that extra second just to look up. And I mean, that's good in a way, but you need that sort of that quick flowing football which we're used to at Man United. Schneiderlin, yeah, is poor, and I'll revert back to Chelsea again. Last season they must have played the same X11 every other week, and only if there was injuries they change it. But when you have a team that can play every week together and are gelling well, then that's when you form your strongest team. But I mean, this year United have changed every other week, and it hasn't worked, and it doesn't work. Because I mean, you need like a core centre-back partnership, you need a core centre midfield partnership, and you need that. And every single week we're seeming to change the centre midfield, we're seeming to change the 3 along the line, and that's also tactically part of the downfall to Man United. Because I mean, tactically we've been bad this season as well. And I don't know, it's been so disappointing. We've bottled it so many times. Tactics have been wrong. Players haven't performed. Players haven't gelled well. And you've got to expect that. I mean, it's just bad management all throughout the club.
Suppressor Gaming is saying, why is the stadium so empty? Why do you think? It's a bit of a dead rubber game. Timo J, though, and I think this might happen more in the game, so keep us updated with this, because obviously I haven't got any volume for the game. But Timo J is saying that they're singing "We Want the Special One," which wouldn't surprise me from United fans, and hopefully would get the message across to Woodward, who we know is there. Simon Collins, Blind is a midfielder. I think he's a good backup centre-back and left-back, and I think he's a good backup midfielder. I don't think he's first-team quality for Manchester United at all, but that's just my personal opinion. I mean, I'll ask you about that, Callum, because I think I've figured out why the live comment section keeps breaking, so I'm just going to mess around with that. Daley Blind, what do you think is His uses at United.
I think for the price we bought him for, the age that he is, I think that's a great buy. I think he's a very versatile player, as I've said before. He can play in many different positions, and he's a good squad player. And to be fair, he hasn't had a bad season. He's had an average season. He's proved us all wrong at centre back. I mean, at the start of the season, we were like, why? What is the reasoning for this? But it was predominantly to put him in the team and give him games. I think United, they haven't had a strong enough centre back, so they've had to play Bint at centre back, and it's just kind of stuck ever since then. I think he deserves to stay at Man United. I don't think he's been poor at all. I think with Smalling, he's built a partnership. But if you want to be winning leagues, and you want to be winning titles, and you want to be winning Champions League, Blint is not the centre back. Blint shouldn't be playing centre back if you want to win the league. But if you want him as a versatile player that can kind of drop in there when you need it, drop in centre mid when you need it, then that's good. But first team centre back, wanting to win the league, wanting to challenge for the title, it's just not going to happen. He's too. There's times when he's just too easy to expose, and we've seen it in games such as like Sunderland. We've seen it in games such as like Southampton when Pella just bullied him. So it's as simple as that. Blint is not the player you want if you want to win the league.
I mean, Callum Azar makes a good point there. He says Daley Blind has had a bit more than an average season. He's done pretty well. I totally applaud that, and I think both of us do. I totally agree with that. I mean, Daley Blind has had a very, very good season. He's definitely in the top 3 or 4 players for Manchester United this season. But the point is, and I think it's what Callum's saying there as well, and I've said before, look at where we are in the league. He's had a very good season in a poor team that's going to finish 5th. If we're miles off being a championship winning side or challenging for a title, which is where Manchester United should be. And the point is, if you think what I'm saying is, if you want to challenge for the title and make that jump, Daley Blind is not a centre-back in a title-winning side. He's just not. He's going to get exposed. The same as Valencia is not a right-back in a title-winning side. The same reason Borthwick-Jackson, even though I play him at the moment, is not ready to be a left-back in a title-winning side. We lack 3 or 4, probably 3, top-class, experienced players in our team. One's a centre-back, one's a striker, and one is a midfielder, a right midfielder. And that also depends on a new manager coming in, getting the best out of Schneiderlin, keeping Schweinsteiger fit, and Luke Shaw coming back left back. We've got some, and I know that means Rashford doesn't play every week, and I think Rashford's got a fantastic future. But if we want to win the title or challenge for the title, then we need to bring in an Aubameyang or an Ibrahimovic or someone like that to share the load with him. He's still going to play a lot of games, but this team that we've got at the moment, even with Mourinho, won't win a title because it's got too many weak links in it. Rooney's a weak link. Where are we going to fit Rooney in? Mata's just not set. He's a flat track bully. He plays well against lesser sides. Carrick needs replacing. We need a partner for Smalling. We need a right back. We definitely need a striker. I mean, I'd love Ibrahimovic because he bullies oppositions. We need a striker who can bully oppositions, who can play as a number 9, because that's why we have to play Fellaini. Fellaini's played because he's the only big player. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done on the squad. There's a lot of positives as well, definitely. And this is what I think, you can't... It's almost like... I'm saying Daley Blind's not good enough to win a title, but he's imperative to a squad. You've got to have a squad of about 20 players. And over a season, Daley Blind, Valencia, Ashley Young, they're not first team players for me, but they still play a lot. It's like Phil Neville. Phil Neville, Nicky Butt, perfect examples of you need to have squad players. And you need to have a first team, and you need 5 or 6 people who will be first team players when other people are suspended and injured. That's how you do it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, with the whole Ibrahimovic thing, I think if there's talk of Van Gaal staying, you can kiss goodbye to Ibrahimovic. I mean, we know that in the past they've had a strained relationship, and Ibrahimovic is getting on now, and he's egotistical. Van Gaal's egotistical. It'll just end in flames. So, but under Mourinho, in contrast, Mourinho is basically, I think Jose Mourinho and Mourinho are quite good. Jose Mourinho and Ibrahimovic, are quite good friends. So I think if we want the best for the club, we need the world-class manager, we need the world-class players. And the only criticism of which I will have for Mourinho is he's never, for me, at Chelsea anyway, he never really brought through the youth. And I mean, if I think that's a sacrifice of wanting to win the league. But United have youth, which is imperative. So I think if we want to be winning titles, we need to have world-class players, but we also need to incorporate youth. And obviously, Mourinho wins you titles, but does he incorporate youth? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So we need experienced players. We need a lot. But when you spent 250 million and you're still saying I need something, we need to make this team more better. When you've already spent 250 million in 2 seasons, is like, well, what did you spend the 250 million on in the first place? It's transfer dealings have been poor. Corporate wise, Man United have been brilliant, but transfer dealings and football wise, they've been a shambles. They've been like a mid-table team this season.
No, I do agree with you.
Yeah. So, and with Champions League, not having Champions League next season, it's going to be a similar factor of we're going to have to overpay for players, even though we're doing that anyway. We're overpaying for players. It's going to be the same sort of fact of we're going to be paying 50 million for Mane, or we're going to be paying 45 million for, I don't know, some random player we've never heard of before. So it's going to be a very difficult spend for the Glazers and Ed Woodward without Champions League. And if they have the balls to do it, to be fair, if they have the balls to do it with Moyes in the first season and sack him like they did, finishing 7th, what in the world stops them from sacking Van Gaal when he's only one place up? Which makes no sense. I mean, I don't know. I think Van Gaal's got everyone deluded, and he's got everyone on the board just convinced that he's a genius when everyone else knows he's an absolute delusional something, which I won't say because this is a PG show.
Well, I'll throw it over to the comments because I know there's a lot of you watching. There's nothing to report on the game. It is an absolute snooze fest, and that's sort of what we expected anyway. But that, there's not that much difference from any game at Old Trafford this season. To be fair, I'm not going to let them have the excuse of it being a dead rubber game because it's pretty much the same as what we've had, even when it's mattered. But as Dance Fever says, what a boring game. We're under Lee Van Gaal. I want this man out. Jer Cleary says Roy Keane should be a new coach with Jose. I like Keane. I said it the other day. If Lingard had tried that on the bus when Keane was on the bus, he'd have had the phone up his arse and everyone else he was laughing. That we need that sort of fighting passion back in the United shirt. We miss it. I've said it for 18 months now. Rooney's just we haven't got a captain in the real sense of the word. He's an awful captain. Whatever you think about him as a player, he's an awful captain. But I'll throw it to you in the comments section there. I think Callum sort of touched on it there. The Van Gaal's done immeasurably worse than what Moyes did, and Moyes was sacked the minute top 4 was gone. Obviously, Van Gaal's still in a job, and I suspect that's because either one, we're keeping him, which I just cannot comprehend, or two, he's got to the FA Cup final. They want him to have that chance to win that. I mean, personally, this is what I want to throw to you on the comments section and let me know. Would you sack him before the FA Cup final? I mean, I would. I think the embarrassments we've endured this season, December, losing to the likes of Norwich and Bournemouth, the embarrassment in an easy Champions League group, losing to Liverpool over 2 legs. I mean, he should not be manager if Liverpool win tomorrow night, which I think they will. I really do. I just think they will. He should be sacked on the spot for that. He's played a part in that, and I wouldn't give him I don't think he should have the luxury of an FA Cup. I know that's really harsh, but I really don't think he should get the luxury of an FA Cup. I think he should be sacked. I think he totally deserves to be sacked, but that's my personal view.
We should be about, if I'm using my calculations correct, we should be 4-0 up by this point if we want to win 19-0 by ratio. So
yeah, it's looking hard. It is looking hard.
And the contradictory thing is, before this game, Van Gaal said he wanted to entertain the fans. 38 games. I mean, that's 38 league games. It took him to want to entertain the fans. And the contradictory thing of it is 20 minutes in, and it's been an absolute snooze fest. It's just embarrassing. It's just disappointment all around nowadays. I mean, there's every belief that we could lose this on the counter attack, and I know I never say that about Man United, but there's a huge belief that. I mean, this is a game. It's a nothing game, but it's like at least give the fans something you want to entertain them about, and they're just providing a snooze fest so far.
I think he'll go for it in the last 10 minutes, and we'll go for that 20.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah.
I'm only joking, I am.
Yeah, I'm trying to do calculations how many goals we need in the last 10 minutes. Yeah,
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't like to be a City fan tonight. I think they'll be absolutely bricking it. I'll need to stop with the sarcasm because people sometimes think I'm being serious. But yeah, Well, I mean, we forget about Bournemouth. They are going for the double against United, and they could, anybody could beat us. To be honest, Herrera's coming in for a bit of stick in the comments section there. Nikhil saying that Tahir saying Herrera is average. There are so many better players around the world. I don't think that's fair to say that about Herrera. To be honest, I think I said this apart from last Tuesday, which I think was an absolute embarrassment by the players, and it's the first time I've been critical of the players this season. I think it's so difficult if you've done your research on Van Gaal to be critical of any attacking player because he's such a restrictive manager. He's such a dictator. He doesn't let people do what they want to do. To be honest, that's why the likes of Fellaini, he loves them, because Fellaini will, if he says to Fellaini, all I want you to do is win the ball in the air and on the floor and then pass it to my creative player. Well, Fellaini's going to do that because he can't do anything better than that. But saying that to somebody like the likes of Herrera or Mata or Schneiderlin even, because Schneiderlin is quite creative and was at Southampton, their job under Van Gaal is to get the ball and pass it to somebody else. But they're creative players. That you're taking. My point is, Herrera is playing half of his natural game under Van Gaal because he's not allowed to be the creative player. Van Gaal has a set regime and has done for the last 10 years, and only 2 people in his team are allowed to express themselves. It used to be, you look at the Dutch side last year, it was really boring in the World Cup. It was Robben and Robin van Persie. They were the only 2 players who were allowed to do anything. Everyone else, it's all about possession. I mean, that I don't know whether it was you who tweeted it up, Callum, or maybe it was Rick's. If not, I'll get it. But the stats about where we've come this season,
that was me.
Absolutely shocking. In fact, I will have it here.
Got
it here. Let me get it.
Yeah, back passes is number 1. We're first in back passes, which shows how defensively poor we are. Chances created, I think we're near the bottom, are we? We're about 16th, 17th.
I've got it here, yeah. So goals scored, 46. Now, even Moyes got 64. It's ridiculous not to score. United are bottom out of the 92 clubs for goals at home, which is absolutely, it's beyond sackable. He should be bloody executed. But goals were 11th in the Premier League for the goals scored. Total shots 418, were 16th in the Premier League. Shots on target were 15th in the Premier League out of 20 teams. Remember, chances created. This is the best one. 18th out of 20 teams. Now, considering 18th got relegated, a relegated side created more chances than us because we finished 18th. Passes in the final third, 14th. Passes backwards, guess what? We're first. Sideways passes, we're in third. And average possession, surprise, surprise, we're not first, but we're second. But he can't even finish first in the thing that is totally redundant, and he wants to do well at.
Exactly. I mean, Louis van Gaal's philosophy, when he gives it all this about his philosophy, it was explained perfectly in the game against Southampton. Now, bar none that we scored the goal, he said something about the 45 passes in the slow build-up. I mean, how can as a manager you say, I want 45 passes before you score a goal? That's a joke. I mean, as soon as we scored that goal, he said that was the kind of football he wanted to see, and that's not Man United, and that's not what the fans want to see. I mean, obviously it came out as a goal, but playing pointless passes and playing 60 passes every time you want to get a goal is pointless. And those stats just prove how defensively minded Van Gaal is and how stupid he is. I mean, we sold Van Persie, we got rid of Falcao. Of course, he had a bad season, and we got rid of Hernandez last season, and he hasn't replaced them. He's brought Marcus Rashford in. He's got Rooney in centre midfield now. And we've also got Martial and Rashford. Rashford's now up front, and we've got Martial on the wing. It's like, if you're going to sell world-class players and you're going to sell good strikers and squad players, then replace them. And he hasn't done that at all, and that's why we're struggling to score goals this season. And that's why, there we go, Rooney with another 50-yard pass. And that's why we are in the position that we are, where there's no attacking mindset. It's boring football. It's boring philosophy. It's pointless tactics of 45 passes just to get a goal. So there's obviously reasons why it's not working, and there's reasons there to say, right, if you want to win the league, this is what you need to do, not what Van Gaal is doing. So he needs to be sacked. Simple as.
Yeah. I'm just trying to have a look at some of your comments, see if you can stir us up a bit. But I answers on a postcard. Have we actually had a shot on target? Yeah, I mean, I know this is a dead rubber game, but there is no difference to any other home game this season. A dead rubber game is like an exhibition summer game. It should not be 0-0. You know, both teams won't be committed in the tackle. They should be just knocking it around, creative. It's the sort of game that it's like the end of people on the beach games. It doesn't end 0-0 because being defensive. Somebody said this: will we play 2 defensive midfielders at home in a game that doesn't mean anything? Of course we will, and we have done. It's Rooney and Carrick. They're playing so deep. They're so deep Adele could sing a song about it. But they really... It just makes no sense at all. I'm not even going to give them the excuse that this is a meaningless game, because it's exactly the same as we've played all season. So many players behind the ball, so defensive, so boring. I mean, I don't think we've had a shot on target. I'll apologise if I'm wrong, but I really don't. And it's just Rooney. People are saying Rooney was saying when he played well in the midfield against Villa, I think it was. I mean Villa, and they were saying, he can be our new Scholes. And he's running around here like he is, and he's just knocked the ball out of play. He's absolute shit. And I don't swear on the streams, but Rooney, I'm not one of the, I know he divides opinion with United fans, and I'm not saying I don't like Rooney. I just think as a centre midfield, it's yet another ego boost for Rooney to get himself in the England team, because he's not going to get in up front, and it's another stupid idea right up there from Van Gaal, right up there with playing Ashley Young up front and trying Lingard as a number 10. It's just a waste of time putting Rooney in the midfield. And you look on the bench again, you've got the likes of Herrera, and I know Pete gets on people's nerves, but at least he tries to play a forward pass and he can play that position. We're just accommodating players, and this is what gets on my right nerves about Manchester United. With Louis Van Gaal, he thinks he's bigger than Manchester United, and then we're accommodating Wayne Rooney in a Manchester United side. For God's sake, get hold of this club and start understanding what it's all about. Nobody's bigger than Manchester United. We've got to start playing as Manchester United and not playing to bloody egos. There has been one shot on target according to GJ2. 70% possession, one shot on target. But it's side to side, it's crab football. Cam Neville says there, and I'll throw that to you, Callum. What do you think Louis Van Gaal says in the change room? I don't know, because if he couldn't get them up last Tuesday against West Ham, I just totally disagree with people who defended him at the start of the season, saying, stop picking on Van Gaal just because he never gets up off his chair. It doesn't make any difference. It 100% does. Look at Ranieri, look at Bilic, look at Koeman, look at Mourinho. They're up on the side and they're having a go at them players. And it makes a massive difference. If you've ever played the game, it makes a massive difference. If you're having a bad game and you look at the bench and your manager's there colouring in, sat down colouring in, you're thinking, I'm getting away with it. If your manager's on the side going, Goldbridge, you're playing absolute shit and you're going to get subbed off. Carrick could have scored on his last game there. It was a decent cross in by Rooney. Poor defending by Bournemouth. He's just got to pass it in. Misses it straight into goalkeeper's hands. But I'm just going to go and get a drink, Callum, so I need one. But yeah, what would Louis Van Gaal say at half time?
I think Louis Van Gaal, personally, I don't think he'll say anything. I reckon he leaves it to Giggs. And Giggs, to be honest with him, although he's a club legend, he's so inexperienced when it comes to being a manager that I don't know. I can't see Van Gaal even motivating the players. I mean, as you said, when you're sitting there and you could be having a bad game and your manager's sitting there just writing down his thing, that is the most not demoralising, but it's the most unmotivating thing ever. It just makes it look like Van Gaal doesn't even care. And maybe he is. Maybe it's a Liverpool inside job for him just to destroy and sabotage United, to be honest.
Could be, yeah.
I just saw this on Twitter here, actually. I'll get your opinion on it. There's rumour now flying around, I don't know what it's from, Spanish reports that Zinedine Zidane has told Real Madrid that Keylor Navas is the goalkeeper for the present and future of Real Madrid.
Yeah.
So, it's all rumours, isn't it?
But you know what? The thing about Real Madrid is, and Mourinho will perfectly testify this, it doesn't really matter what a manager at Real Madrid thinks. It matters what the president thinks. They like the Galacticos. David De Gea has won Player of the Year at Manchester United for the last 3 years. He's a really good player, and he's probably the best. I think he's the best goalkeeper in the world. United have just given a free kick on the edge of their box here. I'll talk about the game in a moment. I think there's a chance Bournemouth will win this because we're absolutely crap. And to be honest, I'm getting to that. I don't ever want United to lose, but I don't want United to lose, but I just think they're playing absolutely terrible. I think Bournemouth actually, if they up their game a bit, could win this. But yeah, I think Madrid don't like to be embarrassed. They got mugged off with the fax machine. I think if the 40 million's there, they'll just do it. They'll do it, and they'll say battle it out with Navas. I'm not even convinced Zidane will be manager next year, so I wouldn't read anything into that. I wouldn't read anything into that at all.
I think the only way Zidane stays as manager if he wins the Champions League. I think that's the only way. I mean, Barcelona have dominated this season, but Atletico are just as good. And it's got to that point now, even on this channel, where we're talking about other clubs, like international clubs, rather than actually Man United. Because this so far has been dreadful. Rooney with another stupid pass. I don't know what he's doing anymore.
Can everybody still hear us both? Because somebody said they couldn't hear me there. And then I'll answer the question about the chair behind me. Does it look real? Of course it's real. God, it's still got 10 minutes to half time. Having a bloody laugh. What was I going to say? Yeah, I think that could happen. I do think it could happen. But at least we've got a cup final to look forward to. I'll tell you what, it could be absolutely dire. Because the thing I've been saying about United for a long time is that they're rubbish. But the thing about I've been saying about United for a long time is that who are we actually missing? You know what? We play. This is rubbish. And you could. I know we've got Martial out on the pitch. It's a rubbish performance, and a lot of it's to do with the defensive football we get from Van Gaal. But who is there to come into that team to make a big difference? Luke Shaw. I mean, people say that Luke Shaw getting injured really made a massive difference to our season. It did, but he's a left back. We wouldn't have won the title if Luke Shaw had been fit. It would have made a difference. He's a very good left back. But left backs don't win you titles. I used to get taken to watch, because I'm from Nottingham, I used to get taken to watch Forest as a young lad. And Stuart Pearce, they were a bit of a one-man team, and he played left back, and he used to score some unbelievable left backs. He'd score free kicks, he'd do 1-2s with the number 10. One-man team at times, but you didn't win the title. You don't win the title with a good left back. And he's the only player we're really missing. I think Pereira should have played more, but that's down to the manager. I think there's a lot of players that can play better, but we're not missing anybody, and that's the problem. And that's what makes me worry about the Palace game. Is we're not missing anybody. It's all going to be about whether the players are up for it. And I'm sure they will play a little bit better. And I think the Wembley pitch suits us better. But who are we missing, Callum? I mean, that's the question.
We're missing a good manager.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
Simple as that. I mean, you can put it down to the players as much as you can. I mean, Tuesday night was completely down to the players. They bottled it. But, I mean, if you are the head of Manchester United's football and what we are famous for and what our history consists of, then you are the captain of the ship. You're making the decisions. You're telling where the players to go. You're telling what positions to play. You're telling, Bournemouth just scored then. You're the orchestrator of 11 players on that pitch. You're the orchestrator of the staff on that pitch. It is your tactics. It is your decision as to how the team plays, and ultimately it is down to the players to go out there and perform. But you are the one that has done all the prep work. You're the one that has prepared them for the game. So if you're going to go out there and lose it, of course it's going to be on your head. That's why managers are always to blame, to be fair, because they are the head of the footballing division at the club. So if they're going to kind of blame the players consistently, then there's no point, because it's more the Van Gaal's fault than the players' fault. It's as simple as that. That's what I'm trying to say.
We've just had a message from Zara because she was filming outside Old Trafford before the game, and a very funny message from Zara. Don't worry, it's not pictures. She's basically saying that you can tell it's dead at Old Trafford when you can get 3G on your phone, which is very true at matches these days. You really struggle to get phone reception, and apparently it's crystal clear. But it's a boring game. It's a very boring game. I think I'd rather have a bedtime story from Michael Owen than watch this. But Borthwick-Jackson's got up. I thought he was injured there. But I think it's going to be another 0-0 at half time. Let's put it that way. It's shocking. It is shocking, and I think there's not much more to say about that. I think what we will do is we'll at half time. We can't really discuss the game and who's played well and who hasn't, because it's been rather boring. So get foreign in the comments section about stuff that you'd like us to talk about. We always like that, and we'll certainly do that. But it's not been great. I didn't think we ever thought it was going to be. Must says, Mark, can you give me Zara's number? Yeah, 1 minute. Give me 1 minute, and if you can all write it down, I'll give you her address. I'll tell you what time she works. Everything like that. In fact, I'll tell you when she's in on her own. Maybe you can start peeping through the windows and stuff like that. I'm only having a laugh with you. You're not having the number. But no shots on target. Apparently there was, Alex Joe. The tickets are free and the stadium is half empty. Yeah, rubbish.
I don't think there has been a shot on target.
Yeah, I'm only taking that from the comments. I don't know whether there has been or not.
I've got on an app. I've got on my phone. I've got the statistics.
So the Welsh lad, it got blocked, but I'm going to read it. A sex session with Jamie Carragher would be now preferable than watching this shower of shit. Some swear words get blocked, so it's not because he's blocked. Cam Neville, Mark, how much is the jacket you're wearing? I think it was about 60 quid. And as I've said, there is another jacket I want to buy, but I'm not buying it while Louis Van Gaal's in charge. And Zara's been out and bought the new away kit today as well. I'm not, but people can make their own personal choice.
Do you think it's kind of I think it's really strange, and I saw this on Twitter the other day as well, where people will moan about Van Gaal leaving and they want Van Gaal out, yet they feed the board by buying the kits and buying all the merchandise and stuff like that. I mean, that only feeds to the club's revenue, and then people want Van Gaal out, then their revenues need to drop. It needs to become a financial problem as much as a footballing problem. Now, I'm not saying don't go and buy the kit because you hate Van Gaal, but I mean, if you want Ed Woodward out, if you want the Glazers out, don't feed the corporate hand. Don't feed the corporate hand, if you get what I mean.
No, I agree. I mean, we've had this chat before. Oh, Doodle 2000 wants Callum's number now.
You're not getting
I'll give you that one. But no, I do think it's a personal choice, and I think on Saturday or Sunday morning I had a load of top Reds calling me out saying I'm not a United fan because I wanted City to do the job because I didn't want us to get top four. I didn't want United to lose. I just had enough of Van Gaal, and I think it's short-term pain for long-term gain. But I've also said I'm going to get rid of my sports subscriptions. I'm not going to name the names. You know who they are. I'm going to get rid of them as well. I'm not paying it while they've got Van Gaal. I'm not paying anything towards Manchester United. And I'm not saying you have to do it. It's a personal choice. But as I said to Alex on Sunday night, and as I'll say to Zara on Saturday on the watch-along, I'll say, you can't moan about Woodwards and the Glaziers if you're going to buy United stuff because you're putting money into their club. You are. And I know it's only a drop in the ocean. And people keep saying, oh, stop tweeting stuff out on Twitter, get down there with a banner. I personally don't agree in the banner. I do not agree in doing banners. I don't agree with the plane. I just don't agree with it. But each to their own. Each to their own. If I was there today, when Van Gaal, and I'll put this to you, Callum, as well, and everybody on here, I want to read some of these, definitely. If you were at the game today, obviously the game will finish, they'll go out, and then and there's not been a shot on target, thanks Football Physics, that's from Manchester Evening News. There might be a shot now. It should be 1-0. It is 1-0. It was a well-worked goal. It was a well-worked goal. It was a good goal, to be fair. Well done. It was a good goal. I'm not going to lie. It was I'm trying to see who it was. I think Martial definitely got the assist. Rooney scores. And it was a well-worked goal. Martial did a lot of the work, to be fair. I think he did a 1-2 with Borthwick-Jackson.
18 more to go.
Let's have a look. It's Martial who makes it. 1-2 with Mata. Step over by Rashford.
That's good movement all round. That's the thing that United need in their team. Like players like Martial, who are just going to frighten defenders. I mean, defenders hate it when you run at them.
I don't know whether Rashford got an assist on this. I'm trying to have a look.
I don't know. I'm just looking at it now. I think he jumps over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably didn't touch it, but it was a very good goal. It was a good goal. That's what should have been happening, Definitely.
Just go get a drink.
It's alright. I forgot what I was talking about now. I probably was having a good old moan about United, but Martial is world class. Lewis Smith is right. He's made the difference there, 100%. Martial and De Gea all season. It's always the same, isn't it? Always the same. no surprises. But it was a good goal. You know, I'm not going to be critical. I expect to see that about 50 times a season at Old Trafford, though, not once. And Bournemouth aren't even trying. So,
Ow.
Callum's hurt himself.
I'm good. I'm just banging the neg on my computer. Oh. I mean, you expect that from United, though, just to unlock teams with ease. And it's very strange to see Man United going ahead 1-0 at half time.
Mark Jackson, that word's banned. You won't get that up. So what does it mean? Much I said. Marshall, you don't win the league with one final. Leeds doesn't deserve an FA Cup final, says the Red Angry Beaver, which I do agree with that. He doesn't deserve it. Mark, how do you get your background? Says Cam Neville. Well, I bought that picture, and I mean, this is my bedroom. I don't know why I get a lot of stick for filming from my bedroom, and this is my bedroom. I don't know what you're on about. Change score, Mark, please. Yeah, I do need to change the score. I'm rubbish at changing the score. But we'll win this 1-0. Van Gaal will come out and say, "Job done." I think Bournemouth probably. It's hard for Bournemouth. They probably wanted to go on their holidays yesterday. I bet some of them have missed flights and everything. I bet a lot of them were going on holiday yesterday.
I know. I mean, the season. It's a nothing game, so the season's over. They probably all had their holidays planned, and now they've had to reiterate and change it around. And to be honest, this game it's with United in first halves. It's always really sorry, the words.
Rashford's just gone down injured here. Just gonna see if it's anything that sort of he's ran into somebody. Don't think it was. I don't know. Might have been something in it. Although Michael Elphick. If anybody remembers who Michael Elphick was, I'll applaud you. But Boone, I'm showing my age there. But whatever happens, Van Gaal needs to go, says Andy Torito. The players are on the bench, on the beach, says Ahmed. They are. It'll be half time in a minute. We need something to talk about at half time because we can't talk about the game. Absolutely crap. Mark Jackson, it's just the word. He isn't. Ibrahimovic, Suarez, Ronaldo, they've all scored more goals by themselves than United have in the league this season, says Drawty. Jer Cleary, stop being rude. Mark, keep the watch along for next season, says Rayuk. Mark, will this be Rooney's last year as captain? I think it will. Red Angry Beaver, hate how I've become so negative about Manchester United. It all boils down to the board's stupid decision and leave Van Gaal his philosophy. And I think that's a very good point from the Red Angry Beaver, because I was talking about this on the Sunday night show. If you don't watch that, where have you been? It's a fantastic show. But Rayuk says, Mark, you slagged Rooney off and he scored. Oh, I'm going to cover that one, then I'm going to cover the Red Beaver thing. Fellaini scored goals this season. It doesn't mean he's not a bag of crap. I mean, it's a tap-in for Rooney. He's not. I hate it when people try and throw it back at you and say Rooney's had a good game because he's scored. It's an absolute tap-in. Martial's made that goal. Rooney doesn't score it if Martial doesn't do what he did. So don't start telling me Rooney's had a good game because he scored a tap-in. You really do show yourself up as an Arsenal fan when you start saying people have had a good game because they've scored a tap-in. Come on, get with it. You're on United stand. You're a United fan. Start to be a United fan and don't come out with silly comments like that. But as the Red Angry Beaver was saying there, and I'll ask you about this, Callum, is that I think it's horrific being a United fan. I think it's really sad. And I think I blame the club and I blame Van Gaal. There's so much infighting this year because I think there's some fans who I think I respected them, but I think they've changed their opinion now because they have to, is that they backed Van Gaal for a long time. There were some fans from very early in the season who said he needs to go, he's never going to get it right. And then you've had the last few weeks, you've had some fans like me saying, I will give up top four to get rid of Van Gaal, because I really do believe if we'd got top four, we would have kept him. Short-term pain for long-term gain. Some people were saying, no, I want Champions League football even if we keep Van Gaal. And it's these difficult decisions all the time. I personally think I want to win the FA Cup, and I don't think the FA Cup's going to make any difference. So I don't think any fans should start wishing we lose the FA Cup final to get rid of Van Gaal, because I don't think that's going to make any difference. But I do agree with what the Red Angry Beaver was saying there, is that it's horrible being a United fan this year, and there's a lot of infighting between us. But I think we do all need to stay together, because we all, I think, have the same thing at the end of the day. we're all passionate United fans and we want the best for the club. I mean, I don't take things lying down lightly, make decisions lightly. And I don't want us to. We're not in the Champions League now, so it's hypothetical. But when I made that decision, I didn't make it lightly. I mean, to say I'll give Champions League football up to get rid of the manager, but I can't put up with another season of Van Gaal. I think the club have just. If there was a decision made about Mourinho, and I don't think there ever was, I think it was all dependent on top four. But it's been horrible for the fans, is my point, Callum, because it's like if we'd known that Mourinho was coming no matter what, I think the club would have been I think fans would have been way more supportive of the club. But because there's that uncertainty, you don't know what you're wishing for.
Yeah, I think you can say that to an extent, but I personally think, and I don't know if people would agree with this, but I think that personally, because of the financial, I think this is more about finance now with Man United. I think we're so focused on how much money we're making rather than. I think the board put how much money the club's making before the fans' desires and before the fans' beliefs about the team. So, with revenue staying the same, I think Van Gaal. I mean, I think he's going to stay, and I hate it because it's like someone just driving a knife into your stomach. But it's been poor, and he deserves to be sacked. But when Moyes was sacked, it was a financial issue, and because of this new Adidas deal that came in 2 seasons ago, it's now not a financial issue, and the football takes kind of a back seat. And I think personally now it's come more down to corporate rather than football. So Van Gaal won't be sacked, and as much as that pains me to say, as much as I don't want to endure another season of this poor football, I can't see it any other way. And maybe, and this is my feeling. I think maybe if we have a poor start to the season next season, and maybe around Christmas time it's still not going as well, I think then they'll sack him, because then they'll know you've fulfilled your contract. Because at the start of the season, when we first got in, he said, "I want to be champions within 3 years." First year transitional, second year utterly disgraceful, third year it will probably be heart attacks all round. So I think he'll be sacked halfway through next season, personally.
You know, the scary thing is you're the second person to say that in about 3 days. I'm going to go through some of the questions on there, but Alex said exactly the same on Sunday, and that makes me concerned. I mean, what a horrible summer we've got if we're going to keep Van Gaal. I can't believe it's going to happen, but I don't necessarily think you're wrong. But I'm just convincing myself. But it's just on so many levels he's full of rubbish. At the start of the season, he said it's got to be third, and we want to finish higher than that. And then a couple of weeks ago, he was like, the aim was just to get in the Champions League, which we haven't done. He's got to come out and say he's failed, because he's not achieved anything that he wanted to achieve. And this 3-year plan that I've even had fans saying to me as recently as last week, it's a 3-year plan and we'll be better next season. Ranieri took over Leicester, who nearly got relegated last season with no resources and has just won the Premier League. Why does Louis van Gaal need 3 years? It's an absolute myth to mug off fans and give him time. He doesn't need 3 years. He's got more money than anyone to spend. He's got a fantastic squad of players. He's got brilliant youth coming through. The issue is him and poor tactics. That's why we've not done well. That's why we're not winning titles. It's nothing to do with bedding a philosophy in. You don't need 3 years to bed a philosophy in. Ranieri's done it in the space of months. He's gone in, he's got them playing, he's got them fighting. We don't fight because he's a lazy, useless, arrogant man who sits on his backside doing a crossword, and that's the problem. It starts and ends with him. I would even say, if you put somebody like, I wouldn't go as bad as Pardew, but if you put somebody like Ranieri in charge of Manchester United, I'm not saying he'd win the title, because I think there are problems within the Man United squad, but we'd be in the top 4. That team is a top 4 team. It isn't from what we've seen this season, but from the squad, the money, the infrastructure, the fans, the ground, the status. We are a top 4 side, and we have massively underachieved. And they're showing this goal back and forth again now, like it's bloody goal of the season, which it probably is for us because we don't score many. But it all comes from Martial. Brilliant play from him, and it's a tap in, and really gets on my tits. He really does. The way he walks up and he's like kissing the sky, like, you've scored a tap in, mate. You're the captain of Manchester United. You've been an absolute shower of shit this season, like the club. And I ain't got time for you doing your little happy kiss up into the sky. Have some bloody respect. I'm not happy with the players at all. But let's have a look at some of the comments while I calm down a bit. Callum Azar, players would have been playing for their careers if they knew that Mourinho was coming in. Good way to get the plastics out, says Night Whisper. I think he's talking about United not being very good. We have no space for plastic fans in Old Trafford. Got a lot of plastic seats today, not many playing. Supermaster 244, Mark, I'm pretty sure everyone wants Lee Van Gaal out now. I think they do. You need to stop the timer, Mark. I'll do that. Who would you say has been our best player this season? Well, it is De Gea, isn't it? Start an online position to get Van Gaal out. Martial is an amazing talent. Depay, on the other hand, is a joke. Mark, do you think Harry Redknapp would do a better job than Van Gaal? Yeah, I do, because I think Redknapp is somebody who gets his players playing, and he's a passionate manager. We just haven't got that at all. It's shocking. It is absolutely shocking. But somebody did say, what one player would you bring in to sort of build the team around, Callum? I mean, I know for me, it's a number 9. It's a proper strong number 9 that we need, because we need to hold the ball up better, and we need to bully defenders better. We're too easy to get sorted. Cam, I hope that's a joke about my hair. I need it cutting.
I think that if we're going to build the team around a current player, and I think without any player that's coming in, I think we should build a team around Anthony Martial, because I mean he's got 25 goals and assists this season combined, and in a poor side, being 20 years old, and to pull that off just shows how much of a special talent he is. So regardless of who you want to build the team around, we should be building it around Martial. He is the embodiment of what a Manchester United player should be. He is the embodiment of what Man United as a club should be. So I think if you're going to build the team around anyone, you should build it around Martial. And I think if there's anyone, if Martial's out of the question, I think if you want to build the team around anyone, we need to build it around, I don't know, I think it depends on the formation, because it sounds weird, but I think it depends on the formation we play, because this season Chelsea have been exposed from that 4-2-3-1 formation, and this season again United have now been exposed from that formation. That is fair proof that formation does not work. And as well, if we're going to be playing that formation, the 4-2-3-1, we need to be building a team around the centre attacking midfielder. If we're going to be playing like Leicester this season, how they won the league, with a traditional 4-4-2, which, I mean, if you ask any United fan, they prefer it over the 4-2-3-1. I think we need to be playing 4-4-2, building a team around the centre midfielder or a striker, such as Ibrahimovic, or maybe, I don't know what other centre midfielders are out there, to be honest. But I think we need to build a team around someone who embodies the United spirit and embodies the United way of style and playing football. I got that messed up in my head, sorry.
No, I think you're right. I think when I think about Ronaldo and his time at Manchester United, the team was built around him. And Martial, I think, needs to play out on the left, because a lot of people say, he needs to play up front, but maybe you're not thinking it through, because if Martial plays up front, he's got his back to goal. If he plays on the left, he's running at players, and that's where his strength is, as he showed on that goal. Martial will become a very, very good striker, I firmly believe, but he's got a good couple of years where he can play out on the left. I'm really excited about watching the Euros and France in the Euros, because they've got Griezmann, Martial, and as Callum was saying, they've got a very good side, much better than England, and it's nice to watch Manchester United players, and he will be here next season regardless. So we could definitely build a side around him, but we do need a number 9 who, and I'm not saying we're going to get Ibrahimovic, because I think I've just got a funny feeling if we get Mourinho, and I know it's a big if, he's been to see Aubameyang a couple of times, and I know he wants to go to Real Madrid, but if Real Madrid don't want him, we maybe get Aubameyang. But what we need is a good number 9 who's tall, strong and physical, who can hold the ball up so that midfielders can go beyond him, which is perfect for Martial. So yeah, we could definitely build a team by Martial. I think he's going to get better and better, and as I've said many a time, I remember seeing Ronaldo at 20 and Thierry Henry at 20. I nearly said Messi, but that would be a lie. And Martial is better than Ronaldo was at that age, and Thierry Henry at that age. Obviously, he's not better than them in their prime. They went on to be world class, and that's a lot of pressure for Martial. But there's no reason, and we're not saying it just because he plays for Manchester United, like some people start saying that Ichinea or whatever his name is at Man City is as good as Rashford. I mean, if you watched him on Sunday, he is a crap Lukaku. But Martial can be world class, 100%. I mean, you can definitely build a team around him. But I think we need to get a number 9. And the great thing about getting Mourinho in is if you look through his history, he always has a reliable number 9 who's going to get him 30 goals a season. And we will bring somebody in. We will bring somebody in. So that's where I'm coming from with that. But I don't disagree with what Callum's saying there. Memphis up front, says Cam Neville. I think Memphis is. Matt's has just said Memphis is the key to success. Greg, what about Higuain? Higuain's a good shout, but he's not really that tall. He's not really physical, and also, I don't know. He's Argentinian. He might not work in the Premier League. The Premier League is a massive gamble. And I think being physical is always a good sign that you might work in the Premier League. So I don't know about that. Andy Carroll maybe. That's Rayuk. Nah. But yeah, I mean Memphis is interesting. I think if we get Mourinho, he could be going anyway. I think if we keep Louis van Gaal, he might be going. I think Memphis deserves another season, but it's very up in the air what's going to happen with him. I wouldn't like to say he's definitely going to make it or he's not, because he just thinks that it's going to be. We don't play Midfield every week, is my point with Memphis, and he's a long way off being a first team player for United. But again, it sort of goes back to what we were talking about half an hour ago. Is he restricted by the Van Gaal way of playing?
I said it before, and I said that I believe Memphis is very much a confidence player. I mean, last season, the Dutch league's very different to the Premier League. I mean, he ripped the Dutch league apart last season, and there's probably a very good reason for that. But when we saw Memphis play, I can't remember who it was, but he had a really good game. I think it was the Midfield game. He had a really good game, and he was on fire. And although it was Midfield, you could see the confidence within him, even in the next game after that. So I think that Memphis, when he's low, and when he's low and when he's out, we've got no confidence at all. I think that's when he's at his worst. But when he's scoring goals, doing tricks, and he's got that bit of confidence in him, I think he could be a potential first team starter every week. But Memphis, I don't know. I've always had a thing. He always looks like one of them players that has the little bit of an attitude problem. Now, having a little bit of attitude is good, but I mean, coming from the Dutch League where he scored 20 goals last season, maybe he thinks he's better than he is, if you get what I mean. So, I don't know. I think that he needs to step his game up. I mean, we don't know what happens behind closed doors in training. You don't know. He could be lazy enough in training and not working as hard in training. So,
second half is off. I better do the old time.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's a strange one with Memphis, because I said at the start of the season I'd give him time to adapt, and I'll give him time to adapt this season, but next season is kind of like, well, now you need to perform. Now you need to show us what you can do. And if it's under Van Gaal, then I don't think he's going to get the same chances. And there's always been a petition for Memphis to start, and when he has started, he hasn't really shown his quality in a way. I think personally, I think he just needs to have confidence in his ability throughout. Oh,
could be 2-0,
yeah.
I mean, the petitions for Rooney to be sent to midfield for England in the Euros will start because he's scored a goal. But I think Memphis is going to be quite an interesting one. Bournemouth nearly scored there. I think Bournemouth need to be a bit more proactive in the second half. Maybe it's a bit open this first minute, actually, Callum. Maybe we're going for the other 17 or 18. 18, exactly. Isn't it? Yeah. Yep.
We need one every 2 minutes or something like that then.
Yeah, absolutely embarrassing. Yeah, it is interesting. Just to let people know what's going to happen afterwards. I know normally we finish at 90 minutes and I go off and do my live match reaction. What I'm probably going to do is sort of have a 5 or 10 minute break between it, because I want to do my live match reaction when Van Gaal is doing his speech, so we can react to that, because there might be something coming from it. So we probably won't be in a rush to get off on 90 minutes, but we will. I will do a live match reaction as well. but the interesting bit of that is going to be what's said. Kieran McGuinness says, Mark, what about Ronaldo? He enjoyed working with Mourinho at Real Madrid. He didn't. He didn't. There's no way. Ronaldo has kicked up a fuss when Madrid were thinking about getting Mourinho a couple of months ago. They don't get on, even though they've got the same agent. I don't think he'd come back. And for me personally, Ronaldo needed to come back last year. He's getting old now, and I think he's strung. I love Ronaldo. I want to say that I do love Ronaldo, but he's strung United along too long, and I never wanted him back at the end of his career. If he wanted to come back, he needed to come back in his prime, and I think his prime days are just about after this season over. But Bournemouth are coming in a little bit here. That could have been a penalty there. In fact, I think it was, but a bit unlucky. But it's a bit more excitement in the second half that we can keep up. Louis Collins says, I'm your biggest fan, thanks. I think Emma Burns is. Maybe the same. We've dominated possession, 65.7%, 34.3%. But I mean...
That stat is so irrelevant nowadays.
I don't think any fans actually are impressed by the possession, and I know that was a sarcastic comment on there, but fans aren't impressed by possession, and I'll tell you for why. Because when we played Leicester at home the other week and they'd won the title and they were on the beach and they didn't really care, but we still couldn't beat them, there was 10 corners in that game, of which Leicester won 9, but it was 5 corners for them and 5 corners for us, and we had 70% possession, but the game still finished 1-1, and Leicester still should have won it because they nearly won every corner. So it doesn't matter how much possession you've got. We don't win. We never do anything from corners. Leicester have scored loads of goals from corners. Possession means absolutely nothing if it's not. How much possession do you get for a corner? It's a very quick corner and it's headed in. You can pass the ball. We could pass the ball around for the next 10 minutes. Leicester probably only need about 0.5% possession from a corner. It's really possession is poor, and teams that hit people on the break are exciting and entertaining to watch. They don't have a lot of possession.
I mean, that's what Mourinho brings as well, didn't he? I mean, he predominantly won the title playing parking the bus and then attacking. And I mean, although Chelsea, Chelsea weren't as exciting, but they won games. They won every game, and they knew how to grind out results and knew how to win points last season. They dominated the league, and I believe that's what Mourinho brings to the table. He can dominate a league. And this is obviously it's been a very unpredictable season.
Here we go, 2-0.
Oh, that's ref. It's pen.
No, I thought he was going to give it to him.
I thought it was as well.
Hi, Jordan. West Ham have bid for Lacazette. That's interesting. Rejected, says Cyprus game. He's a player. I mean, over the summer, it's going to be really hard if it's Leo Van Gaal. But last summer we had so many shows. I think we were doing Tuesday and Thursday at 9:00. Talking about transfers, and we will be doing a lot of transfer shows this summer, but I will say this now, that if we keep Van Gaal, it's going to be very, very difficult. But Lacazette was a player that we were looking at last year. I don't know whether we need that it was a penalty as well on Mata there. I don't know whether we need Lacazette now we've got Rashford coming through, because the thing I liked about Lacazette is that he reminded me of that sort of fast Andy Cole sort of striker, and I think Rashford's a bit like that, but and I don't know what sort of season he's had, but he's another player I would suspect is going to the Euros. 25
plus goals this season, I think, again.
But we'll get to see him in the Euros, won't we? So,
yeah. I mean, it'll be really fun as well in the Euros to see Martial actually playing with, not say world class, but playing in a world class French team which is full of big names. To see how he performs in that sort of side. So I mean, he's been a standout star for United this season, apart from De Gea. But
I don't know whether he starts for France though. He might not even start.
Oh, so they got
Benzema isn't playing, is he? He's not allowed.
That's not easy. They might put him up front then, mightn't they? What other strikers have they got?
Well, they've got Griezmann, haven't they? I don't know whether Giroud gets picked.
No, I don't know if he did. I mean, he hasn't been brilliant this season.
You've obviously got Lacazette. Schweinsteiger's fit for Germany. I mean, that was something I wanted to mention as well.
It's a name, innit? So it's again that they picked him on the name. It's not form, it's on the name. Just like Rooney's been picked on the name, rather than Jack Wilshere's been picked on a name. It's reputation more than form at countries sometimes. And that's what I believe players such as players such as the likes of Antonio and players such as maybe not Mark Noble, because I mean he's been a while.
Johnny Phillips Douglas just said that Lacazette didn't make the French team, which is surprising, because I think that's one of the reasons he wanted to stay at Lyon or Lille. I think it's Lyon, because he wanted to make sure he got his place. Well, I'd be interested to know who their strikers are then, because
I'll have a look. But that's kind of strange though, to score 25 goals in a season and then for them to turn him away.
Hasmus says Lacazette not in the squad, and Chromatic95 says Giroud has been picked, which is, again, it's just different, you know, it's a bit like having a tall player instead of a small player, isn't it, I suppose, but...
Still though, to score 25 goals back-to-back in a season and then not be picked, that must be demoralising, to be honest.
I mean, there was a fantastic question in there. I mean, the game at the moment is slightly better, but it's still 1-0. There was a fantastic question in there before saying about how do we think Manchester United players are going to perform in the Euros. And a couple of people have just mentioned about Schweinsteiger will have a good tournament. I mean, I love Schweinsteiger. When he signed, fantastic. But I think he's another player who is misused by Van Gaal because he doesn't let him play his natural game, same as Herrera, same as Schneiderlin. They have to play this very restricted defensive midfielder, which Schweinsteiger isn't. And Herrera definitely isn't. So I'm excited to watch Schweinsteiger if he's going to be fit.
Yeah, Giroud and Gignac got picked as strikers. Griezmann, Martial, Payet and Coman. Which is kind of strange. Kabay got picked.
Payet's good. But, yeah, so we've got Martial, obviously very excited to see him. De Gea, I don't even know if he is the first choice Spain keeper. I think he is now. Because I think Casillas has obviously gone off, hasn't he? So, but will De Gea be a player for Manchester United next season? Who knows? So yeah, I'm excited to see Martial, Schweinsteiger. From the England squad, I am excited to see Chris Smalling, because I think I've been saying this for a few weeks now, and regulars will know, so I apologise, that Smalling and Blind, I think they've had a very good season because they've got two defensive midfielders sat in front of them. Most teams only have one. So I'm interested to see how Smalling's going to do with a crap centre-back, because it's going to be Stones or Cahill. And even Hodgson won't play two defensive midfielders. So I'm interested to see how Smalling does against some really good strikers, and how he stands up to that. So Smalling I'm interested in watching. Martial obviously. Rooney I'm not interested in watching. I don't think he should be playing for England, to be honest. We've got somebody else in the Rashford, maybe he'll go. I'm sort of up in the air of that, because I'm happy that Luke Shaw's not going. Because I just don't think... I think that was a rush job to get him back. Oh, Carrick at the bar, I didn't see that. It's a good shot.
Yeah.
And I'm glad Luke Shaw didn't go. Rashford, I mean, Stuart Pearce made a very good point today. There's an under-21 tournament on the Toulon tournament, and I'd be interested to see that. He's not going to go because obviously he's going to be part of the England squad, but then the thought is that he'll he won't go with England anyway. But I think Rashford just needs a summer off. That's my point about him. So beyond Martial, Smalling, Rooney, De Gea, I can't think of any of the United players that are going to the Euros.
Fellaini's going.
I ain't looking forward to watching that bag of crap.
No,
I think he has a good Euro, so we can sell him though.
Yeah, exactly. I think personally, I think Rashford's shown up in big games for United. I mean, he's done so many great things in 2016. He's relegated Villa. He's retired Demichelis. He knocked out West Ham out of the FA Cup. He beat Arsenal's title hopes. He's scored big goals in big games. But, and I know this might not be a popular opinion. One, I think it's a little bit too soon. Two, I don't think he'll get picked for the provisional. This is only a provisional squad, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't think he'll get picked for the final 23. And three, I personally think Jermaine Defoe deserved it more. And I know that might be an unpopular opinion, but to score 20 goals in a Sunderland team which is struggling, I think that kind of earns you a right to, not right, but a definite shout to be selected. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. Obviously, I'm glad he's in the squad, but again, I don't know. I think Defoe just for me just deserved it a little bit more. That was a great ball in there from Borthwick-Jackson. Yeah, the second half's been a little bit more exciting. It's been a little bit more exciting. I mean, there's a lot more. It still doesn't look like we're really going to score apart from that carrot chance. Borthwick-Jackson, I don't know. I'm really surprised how good of a ball crossing Borthwick-Jackson actually has. I mean, every ball seems to be in a really dangerous area, but there's no one ever there, as usual, for United to put it home.
Yeah, I mean, Defoe's had his chances over the years. He's the sort of player you bring on for the last 10 minutes if you need a goal, to be honest. I don't personally. I don't want to talk about the Euros much more because I know we're meant to be about United, but I don't actually think United are going to do very well because I think the Premier League's been very poor this year, and I don't think we've got any gauge of how good our players are because I think it's a poor Premier League. I'm interested to see what the likes of Vardy do, but I think, in all honesty, I think English football's pretty poor, and I think I think we'll do well to get out of the group. I think people have got high expectations again just because we beat Germany, who fell asleep from being 2-1 up. I mean, Holland came and beat us, didn't it? And they can't even qualify.
I don't know. Euros are going to be very up in the air. It's the usual spectrum of England to go to the Euros. So that was brilliant from Rashford.
2-0. Oh no!
Is it? It's like
Lingard.
This is away. That was ping ball in there, but that was brilliant from Rashford.
I mean,
it's yet again when you run at defenders, you create chances.
We very rarely do it.
Exactly. And Rashford and Martial, they're only two players that look like they want to run at a defender and scare him to life, scare the life out of him. Sorry.
Come on, we've got 750 people watching this show, and you've said that next year you want us to do more watch-alongs, and we've only got 160 likes on the video, so I'm not doing any more watch-alongs. That's a fantastic shot. I think it was Valencia turning it about 30 yards out, and it was a good save. I'm not doing any more watch-alongs unless we get at least 300 likes on this video, because for the amount of people watching, surely a lot of you haven't liked it, so putting the foot down there. And also subscribe to the United Stand if you haven't, and whatever you do, if you're not going to the game on Saturday, watch the watch-along. We'll be on air about 3 hours before the game. We've got loads of stuff planned, and you're really going to enjoy it. We've got prizes to give away as well, so get involved. We're doing the FA Cup old school, like it used to be when I was a kid, where it's an event. The whole day is an event, so join us for that. So drop us a like, subscribe to the United Stand, and do not miss the watch-along on Saturday. Probably going to be going live at about 1 or 2 o'clock, and we've got some great stuff planned for that. But that was a decent shot from Valencia there.
Yeah, it's definitely on his right foot though. I know that.
Yeah, no prizes for that. Guessing that. We're going. David Afonso says, "Oh my God, we're actually taking shots because we're going for it, David. We need 18 goals in the last half an hour. We're going for it now, and it's a corner. You know we're going to score from a corner. We always do."
I think we've only probably scored one goal. Well, one goal from corners this season?
Schweinsteiger away to Leicester, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the only one I can really think of, to be honest. I mean,
FA Cup should be a 3 o'clock kickoff, says Musty Finkelman. I totally agree with you. I do. But when I was a kid, and we should start getting excited. Not about me being a kid. That's be all wrong. But we should start getting excited about the FA Cup. We've not won it for a long time. I know we've got an absolute clown in charge, and I bet Fellaini will get picked, which would be an absolute joke. But it is a massive game for us, obviously. I want us to win the FA Cup because we're in the final now, and we haven't won it for so long. And the FA Cup's always been a trophy that is important to me because as a kid in the 80s, the FA Cup was the game of the season. I remember my first ever FA Cup final. I remember was '85 against Everton, which I'm doing a little bit of a video for on Saturday talking about that. And then the first proper FA Cup final I remember totally was '87 Coventry against Spurs, which was a fantastic final. And that sounds weird because obviously I'm a United fan, but the FA Cup final used to be a massive event, regardless of who was playing it. And BBC used to be on. He used to have a children's programme called Going Live with Philip Schofield and Sarah Green. And even on that, they'd be building it up from like 9 o'clock in the morning, right the way till 3 o'clock. There'd be all sorts of stuff. You'd see the buses driving down to Wembley. Mata nearly scored. And it was a great event. So that's what we're going to try and recreate on Saturday. And Manchester United are in the final, so can't wait for it. And obviously I remember 88, Wimbledon, Liverpool. Liverpool absolutely battered them. Dave Besant saved a penalty. Laurie Sanchez scored. I think they weren't going for the treble, but they were going for the double. They couldn't go for the treble because they got us banned from Europe for 5 years. The scummy Scousers. There you go.
I'm just going to ask you this: do you think that with the corporate investment in football, do you think that trophies like the FA Cup have kind of lost, and the Premier League as well, have kind of lost their traditional sort of feeling of winning it? As it like, you kind of get what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of lost its speciality.
Oh yeah, definitely has. It 100% has. I mean, the FA Cup in '99. I mean, I've done my top 5 FA Cup finals United, and I'm doing that will be on the watch along. I've already recorded it, but it will go up on the watch along on Saturday afternoon. And none of my finals are in this in the last 20 years. And one of them in the top 5, I won't tell you where it came, was the '99 final against Newcastle. Not necessarily because of the final, it was 2-0, and it was against Newcastle, and they had Shearer, and they were rubbish. But the semi-final was one of the best games I've ever seen against Arsenal. It was absolutely fantastic, that goal from Giggs, but it had so much. It was the last minute, we were 1-1, and Schmeichel saved from Bergkamp. If they'd scored that, they would have knocked us out of the FA Cup. They probably would have won the FA Cup. It could have affected us in the league, and we might not have won the league. And then obviously we had the Giggs goal. Keane was sent off. It just had absolutely everything. But it died. The FA Cup died because of the FA, because they sent us off. That as champions, they sent us off to Brazil, and we didn't enter it the year after that. And that killed the FA Cup, because it's like, well, if a team cannot even if the champions aren't even going to defend it, then teams started playing their reserves. I think we were the first. I think United were the first team to start doing it, because Ferguson, after that, just hated the FA Cup and hated the FA. And then everybody does it now, and it's just been diminished, absolutely diminished, and it's a shame, but it's because the Premier League is more important, and it was totally and utterly personified by Wigan, who won the FA Cup and got relegated.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that important.
Mm.
And I work with Villa fans, and I think they got to the final last year, and they only just stayed up last year, and every one of them said, I'd rather stay up than have a trophy on your honour, on your honours. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. It's like 4th place becomes a cup in itself. We've just had the battle with City, haven't we? And it's like, we've got to get 4th, and it's 4th place. And 4th place, I bet if we'd done a poll, 4th place or the FA Cup, we'd all go 4th place, because it's Champions League football. It's sad. Football physics says that people unfurling the Louis van Gaal out banners were confronted by stewards. Not surprised. Not surprised. It's all about freedom of speech. That's disgusting, really. But what does the FA Cup mean to you, Callum? I mean, I know you're younger than me, so it's like, has it been a...
When in the early years, probably 2003, 2004, when we last won it against Millwall, we beat them 3-0, I think it was. That was... It felt kind of cool then, because it still felt football wasn't as corporate. But it just feels... I think for me, as soon as this season, when they changed, I don't know when they changed it, but they changed it to the Emirates FA Cup, just kind of just showed me that the FA Cup doesn't matter anymore. I mean, to rename a trophy so like, obviously they do it in the Premier League every year, but that's like, we've been used to that. But because I don't remember them ever doing it to the FA Cup. I don't remember them ever changing it. Like, it was always the FA Cup, and now for them to call it the Emirates FA Cup, it's just like it just epitomises the corporate businesses in football. And it's like I said at the start of the game, like with the X-Men thingamajig, it's like it's more about making money and being corporate and doing what's best for business in the terms of merchandise, shares and stocks and all this, rather than the actual what's going on the pitch, rather than satisfying the fans and winning league titles and giving the fans that feeling of we're the best team in the world, we're the best team in England. And with United, it's so far away from that now that it's at the point of we're a laughing stock.
If you want any more watch-alongs next season, I'll tell you now, you're 29 likes short of the target. So if you haven't liked it and you want more United Stand watch-alongs next season,
if I do the maths, we need a goal. We need a like every 1.2 minutes.
Let's have a look what's happening on the comment section. This has been, I wouldn't say it's the worst Manchester United game I've seen, because there's been quite a lot this season, but I've definitely seen better. And to be honest, I don't know why Bournemouth didn't, why both teams just couldn't agree to have a point each, because Bournemouth certainly haven't come here with any intention of winning this game, and
They haven't.
right,
I mean,
go on.
they've had one or two chances, but see, the thing that's going to be strange is when it gets to about 80 minutes and 85 minutes, when fans leave because of traffic. I mean, that's when it's going to start to become empty, and when the full-time whistle goes, I'm still. Well, I just want to see how many fans are actually there at the end. I mean,
well, Banana Man's just said something here, and I throw it over to the comments section because I although I can see the game, I don't have the audio on for obvious reasons, and apparently people are singing Louis van Gaal's Army. As GTF Mirali says there, Old Trafford fans are a joke, and under what circumstances? They're absolute idiots. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say that about Manchester United fans, but have we just got a load of foreigners who've just turned up who just don't know what the club's about? And I hate to say foreigners, but if you're from England and you get the English press and you're ingrained in what's going on in England, I can't understand that a United fan would do that. And I'm really not being against foreign fans. I'm just thinking, have a load of fans come over just to watch United and they don't know anything about the club and they're just chanting Louis van Gaal's Army, because I just don't. Let me know in the comments. I don't understand how any Manchester United fan can be singing Louis van Gaal's Army today. I mean, what's your motivation? What is your motivation? Scott Sim, it's happening. It's absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful.
I mean, you run any poll on Twitter, and I guarantee you'll get plus 90% of fans wanting Louis van Gaal out, and I can't understand that. How I literally just muted my mic here just to listen to it, and they are singing it, and that right there is beyond me. I mean, there's points where you say, right, this season's gone badly, but I mean, to be against Bournemouth and they're just they're not even trying. Bournemouth, United have been so poor. It's all about possession, all that. As I said before, about the 45 passes and all this. To still be supporting Van Gaal after that, it just leaves you speechless. I can't make any sense of it. Why in the world would you be supporting Van Gaal and singing Van Gaal's name after he is putting this club in decline and making us look like a complete joke, making our club into a corporate sponsor rather than a football club?
Well, Dean Cooks just said that they are doing it as well.
I muted my mic and I just put on the audio here, and they are singing it. There's rings in the background. Oh, what is wrong with? Oh,
that is just, you know what? You know what that is? That's your hardcore super red who gives this show, or gives me personally, a lot of crap because I said, I'd sacrifice top four to get rid of Van Gaal, and then it's just hardcore Reds who've been there for years, and they haven't got a bloody absolute. There is no good that can come from singing Louis van Gaal's Army, and you might have been to thick people have season tickets and go for 50 years. Doesn't mean you know anything about football, because that is just stupid, and I don't care. I do not care. I think it's absolutely stupid on every level to chant that idiot's name. And we know what's going to happen now when he comes out. He'll come out and do his speech, and they'll be singing his name. I mean, under what planet can you be singing? And Rashford's just ran through there, but he's gone wide. But there is not even a single glimmer that you can be singing that. No. Red Angry Beaver says it must be a bunch of City fans who've come along for free tickets. Unless it's Bournemouth fans, I don't know.
I don't know.
It makes absolutely no sense. I mean, maybe I'm being a bit harsh. I'll throw it to the comment section.
If it is Bournemouth fans, then that's just them having a bit of banter there. But if it's United fans, then that is plain stupidness.
I can't. You know what? I retract it. I can't even think that a United fan would be doing it. Would you take Rafa Benitez, Mark? No. No. I'm appalled. I'm absolutely appalled that people have been singing it at the ground. I mean, I've just tweeted it out because you normally get people replying on Twitter quite quickly. I mean, it's had a few retweets, but Let's just see if anybody's actually replied. We normally get somebody say some nonsense comment like support the club, win, lose or draw.
Yeah, and then try and rally the troops.
Oh, somebody's saying they're singing Eddie Howe's Barmy Army.
Might be. It sounded like Van Gaal, so Van Gaal and Howe sound similar. So I just hope.
Yeah, no, I do retract that because it's the away fans. It is the away fans.
Yeah.
I'll breathe a sigh of relief though. I'm happy that it's away fans. I'm starting to get like, what the bloody hell is going on at our club? Because I really don't think that anybody would.
Because everyone, even if you don't, I don't know, you have to be really realistic, really idealistic, and stick to your morals.
Tell you what, this has to be the longest second half ever.
Still 20 minutes left.
I know. I'm going to start setting up the reaction to the other one. We've had 316 likes. I think that pretty much says that we will do some watch-alongs next year then. It's sad really. We only started them about a month ago. Although we have got a bit of a bad record because how many games has Manchester United ever had delayed kickoffs? We've done about 7 watch-alongs, of which 3 of them have had... Well, we've had 2 delayed kickoffs and abandoned. So... Banana Man, it's your fault. Yeah, he's saying, sorry guys, it sounds like Lou Van Gaal's Barmy Army. They've been singing that since the start of the game. Football Physics wants me to say that York City scored more goals than us and they got relegated. It doesn't surprise me, mate. It's poor. The live chat's frozen. Sorry, it's my fault. It does do that sometimes.
Well, that's what I said it before earlier. That's what you get when you sell three world class strikers. To be honest, and although you may not say, well, Falcao not really world class at the minute. Yeah, goal, Rashford.
Oh, Rashford. I've got him in my fantasy football team.
And then scores.
I've got De Gea as well, so a clean sheet sort of does well for me.
Well, that does well for De Gea as well because then he gets the Golden Glove. I forgot to mention everyone that's watching at home. My if you see me on my phone, my Twitter is at Man United's News. So that's MANUTDS_news.
It's a very good finish from Rashford. It's exactly why I'd take him to the Euros, even though I don't want to take him to the Euros. I just think he offers something that not a lot of other people do. But it's a great goal. It was a good finish. It was a really good finish. I just watched it back there. And I do apologise for the sort of the match commentary in this because I know it's been a bit lethargic, but it's been very difficult to watch and I've more enjoyed keeping an eye on the live comments. 16 more says Milan Villanos, definitely. 17 more says Joshua. 17, I think it's 17 because the Red Angry Beaver says that as well. Ahmed says 17. Nice one, Rashford. I mean, Rashford, Martial, De Gea, Smalling and Blind have been the positives in this season, without a doubt. The sad thing is, and we all know that the bomb was a training bloody prop left behind, ridiculous. But I don't think City would have lost to Swansea anyway. But I think if this had been Sunday and we're winning, it just puts a little bit more pressure onto City, and not have that opportunity really is annoying. But we don't deserve 4th, I'm not going to pretend, and we lost 4th place last week. Well, we never deserved to have a chance against West Ham. I mean, how City even gave us a chance again, but against West Ham we should have. There's no excuses, we just didn't turn up, and it's very easy to start passing the ball around against Bournemouth, who are absolutely on the beach and just do not give a damn at all. And I think Bournemouth have had a pretty poor end to the season anyway.
Yeah, I mean, this game only means I think it will only mean Bournemouth will get like 2 extra million, I think, next season. So I don't know. It doesn't mean anything. It never did at the start of the game, did it? As soon as City got the draw, you knew that there was nothing really in it.
I'm quite surprised we haven't made any more substitutions than we have, though. I mean, at this point, you definitely
apparently Pereira and Young were warming up.
Yeah. Oh, I've got to change the scoreline again. It's all going on. It's such an exciting game. I forgot.
You're not used to changing the scoreline, are you?
No, you normally just can leave it as 2-0. Oh, look, I've changed it to 12-0. It's not 12.
Really? We've got a chance. 7 more to go.
Delete. Well, I'm pleased Rashford scored. He helps out with my fantasy football. And Mark, would you take Ronald Koeman, says Doris Sweeney? I wouldn't. I want Mourinho. But somebody posted something to me yesterday about Koeman's record against all the top clubs, and it's really good. And I mentioned Koeman and Pochettino around October on a Sunday show last year, this season. And Koeman ticks a lot of the boxes.
So does
that I like. Yeah, Pochettino does, but he's signed a new contract, hasn't he? But Koeman, like Pochettino, Premier League proven. I think they've done fantastic to finish 6th, because it will be 6th now. He promotes youth. He plays exciting football, and he's Premier League proven. I don't think he's got a cat in hell's chance of getting the job, but I do think I definitely like him. Yeah. Callum Priest says, "Would you take Laurent Blanc?" No, I wouldn't take him. I think he's proven nothing at PSG, and I think it'd be a major risk. Memphis coming on for Rashford. Nice for Rashford to get a goal. Obviously, he'll be playing in the FA Cup, and it is. I've just watched it there. It's a lovely taking goal. He's got a lot of. I don't think he's at Marshall standards by any means, but he's through the youth team. He's young, English. He's everything you want a player to be coming through at United to be, and he's got a good finish on him. And I'd like him to have the summer off, to be honest. I would like him to have the summer off, but then selfishly, you think I'd like to see him in an England shirt because it makes it more entertaining for us United fans. But at his age, the best thing for him is a good couple of months off, and he comes back fresh. But we've got a problem in England with our young players, right back to the likes of Michael Owen, Rooney, even Walcott. I mean, he can't get in the England squad in his prime years, but was taken as a 17-year-old. We need to look. We don't look after our youth, and
no.
But it was a good finish, and I think he's got a bright future. It's always injury permitting. I mean, I think Fosu Mensah's on the bench today, which is good, but I mean, he should be involved more, to be honest.
Yeah. What is he just coming back from injury?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Fosu Mensah looked brilliant at right back, and he can play centre back, and he can play centre midfield. He's a squad player, and he's a young player. He should definitely be getting given a chance. Sorry, I think Pereira should be getting a chance, but as I've discussed before, Van Gaal does not like Brazilian flair players for some odd reason. I mean, that's why Memphis doesn't get picked as often. I don't think. Maybe, I don't know. There's a lot of question and ifs and buts. And it has been that all this season, ifs, buts, and maybes. If we win this game, we get Champions League. If we beat West Ham, we get Champions League. It's been really disappointing from United.
This is the sort of game that Memphis should come on and play absolutely superb, because Bournemouth don't give a crap, and he that suits him perfectly, because he tends to do well against teams that aren't up for it or aren't that good. So
yeah.
But we were always going to win this game, and I don't mean this game, but I think if it had been played on Sunday as it was meant to be, I think we would have beat them anyway. I really do.
I mean, Bournemouth, as we said, Bournemouth aren't playing for anything. They're not exactly here to win. They're just here to take part, and they just want to get the game over with so they can have their summer off. So, wait, a second change. Who was the first change? What was the first sub? Was there a first substitution, or was this the first one of the game?
We've had Herrera for Mata, and I think Memphis came on for Martial, didn't he?
Wait, when did Herrera?
After the Rashford goal, I think it was sort of instantaneous that happened. Yeah.
They're 4 shots on target.
I think everybody now is just sort of waiting to see what's going to be said by Van Gaal. In the after thing, and I won't be doing an instant match reaction, because we'll end this one, and then I will open up the other match reaction, but I'm not going to go live for about 10 minutes or so, because I want to see what is said after the game, and then I'll do a live reaction after that. So we will be off air for about 15 minutes, because we'll end this, and then I'm going to do my live match reaction, because I think it's important to know if anything is said. We'll get that done. Do you think he's going to say anything of note? I don't personally think he will. I think he'll thank the players, he'll thank the fans, and he'll say we go for it on Saturday and get a trophy for the fans. It'll all be marketing to make himself look good.
Yeah, he won't. I don't think. I don't even think he'll apologise for not getting Champions League. I don't think he will do that. I think he's very much an egotistical manager, and he won't own up to his own mistakes, and he won't apologise to the fans for the boring football they've had to see this season because he'll think it's brilliant football. Oh, this is good touch, Valencia actually. Oh, he should have scored.
Memphis.
Is he offside? That's his only saving hope. Yeah, he's offside. Oh. Memphis has got about 6 goals this season, hasn't he? Oh, come on, that's you should be looking along the line there.
I think he has got an attitude problem. I do.
Yeah.
And I think he needs to sort that out. It'd be interesting if we got Mourinho because I'm not sure. Oh no, Martial's coming off now, so I don't know who Memphis came off for.
Memphis come off for Rashford. Memphis come for Rashford.
Oh yeah, he did. I saw him. Yeah.
I think as well. Now that Ashley Young's come on, I think he hasn't really been. Has he been injured, or he hasn't really been given a chance this season, has he?
No.
Because I mean, he's everywhere. Every time he's come on, he's never really had a bad game for Man United this season. I don't think personally. And there was even. I mean, he put Thingy out of the team. He's put Memphis out of the team.
I think Ashley Young's a really weird one because I think when he's played in games towards, he's one player who gets. He doesn't play well every game, and he has 3 or 4 games a season where he plays like where he plays like Messi, but he gets United. He'll always play with passion, and he always gives his all. I think it's strange how he's not been involved. Although I did hear the other day that he might well have been injured, although it wasn't reported. He just sort of disappeared after the being played up front against Spurs, and then he's come back. He's come back fit again.
That's stupid tactics again. I mean, who in their right mind? I mean, you talk to any football fan, and you'll say, "Should you be playing Ashley Young up front?" And they'll tell you, "Are you on drugs?"
Yeah.
There's no way, and he's put him up front again. What?
It's just a man of very odd decisions, Van Gaal.
Yeah, I mean, when he did it in the World Cup, when he did that substitution, we all thought he was a genius. It turns out he's just stupid.
The thing is that the World Cup was a bit of a myth as well. That we all definitely fell into that myth. That we thought, oh, he's going to be a fantastic manager, and he's beaten Spain. But if you watched them every other game in the World Cup, they were like this, boring, absolutely boring.
I mean, I don't make any sense of it anymore. It doesn't. There's no football fan, even if you're supposed to be a top level manager. And I mean, to be honest, do you reckon even someone just sat him down and said, "Listen, do you know what you're doing here?" Because I mean, half the time, you talk to any logical football fan, and they will tell you that was a good challenge from Rooney there. They will tell you.
Man of the match, Rooney is the new Scholes. You've heard it here first.
No, because Scholes makes bad challenges. Scholes always just goes to take him out and gets a yellow card and walks away. I mean,
to be honest, I think United players should look at themselves long and hard in this game because, I mean, De Gea could have been playing in his slippers. Bournemouth just couldn't give a shit.
Exactly. I mean, there's always questions of where would we have been without De Gea this season. I mean, we saw Romero, I can't remember, something like that. I don't know if he plays football anymore. But if we had Romero, I mean, we would be 8th, 9th, 10th. That's where we'd be this season. I mean, De Gea has kept us within so many points. And Romero is like the De Gea of 2011, 2012 season. He makes great shot stopping saves. But when it comes to physicalities and where to distribute the ball, he's horrible. I mean, this game is a nothing game. But I mean, when was the last time, I mean, apart from Midfield, but in the Premier League where Man United have really just gone out and smashed the team?
No, we don't do that. We just do not do that. 3-0. Offside. No, it's 3-0.
Yeah, is it 3-0? Yeah. 16 more to go.
It's the first time we've scored 3 in a long time. Rooney will get man of the match because he's chipped it. I'm going to have a look at the comments section because I know you'll all be saying that Rooney's the next Scholes now, even though they've just played a team that's their bodies might be there, but their minds certainly aren't. I've just I think it's worked. Let me have a look. Yeah, I've put the. Let me just make sure it works first. Yeah, it does. I've put the live reaction video link in the video description of this video for everybody, so you can go over to there when we end this. But I will be waiting about 10 minutes because I want to be live after Van Gaal has done his bit. So there will be a slight delay because I think it's really important to see what that clown's got to say. And I will be doing that, so you can join me on that there. Where Callum's gone, but I'm sure he'll be back. 3-0 then. It could be 4 now. Ashley Young is offside this time. I'm sure Van Gaal will be saying now that Ashley Young. This is why I play Ashley Young up front because he's brilliant, but he's definitely not. He's definitely not. I can't say anything more than that Bournemouth have just never wanted to play this game. You can just tell it a mile off, but. I've got to change the score, I know, I've got to change the score. I hate Man United at the moment. I don't hate Manchester United, I just hate the clown who runs it, and there's no real joy.
Well, Bournemouth being opened up now, and this is where you make it 4. Nope.
Well, he's just, the thing is now, I think we are. If he gets one more goal, we get 50 goals for the season. He should be exactly going for that.
I mean, that mark 50 goals in a season, that's not good enough.
It's easy. This is just Manchester United to a T though under Van Gaal. When you're playing teams who just aren't up for it, it makes us look really good.
I mean,
to be honest, my man of the match, Michael Carrick. I think he's totally dictated the play, but everyone will say Rooney. But from what I've seen, Carrick's been absolutely flawless. I know Rooney's got the goal and he set Young up, but Carrick's just totally dictated the play, and I think he's had a really good game. But you know, that's the footballing mind thinking, and everyone's doing. I mean, Memphis again. There's all sorts of flicks going on now, but it's the thing. We're not fooled by it, are we? It's like they're playing like fast, attacking, entertaining football now, but no one's fooled by it. It's way too late. Way too late.
3 added minutes. 3 minutes and it's all over.
3 added minutes. So what'll happen is I thank Callum for coming on, and I really do, and I thank everybody who has come on and watched the watch-along today, because this has been... I very nearly didn't do a watch-along, and Drawty and everyone was like, yeah, do it, because we've been doing them every game, so you've got to do it. And I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But we've done it, and to be fair, a lot of you have watched it, so a big applause to you. We only do it for you anyway. And Wayne Rooney has just got man of the match.
I'm surprised
that's a typical Sky Sports decision. He's not man of the match. He's had a decent game against the poor side, but definitely Carrick. But yeah, so thanks everybody for watching. I normally flip over and do a live reaction straight away. There is a link in the first line of the description. You can go over to there. That stream is open, but I won't be going live for about 10 or 15 minutes because I want to do my live reaction after Van Gaal has said his bit, and I also want to know if Carrick's going to stand down. So it's a bit out of the ordinary, but it is the last game of the season, so I will do a live match reaction. But I just want to know what Van Gaal has said, and then I'll do it in about 10 or 15 minutes time. So thanks Ryan, he loves the watch-alongs. Give over Mark. Rooney was easily man of the match. No, this is football. Football's all about opinion. If you want to pick Rooney, that's fine. I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong. But if you know, I don't want to sound arrogant. I'll just say it. I've played football at a decent level. I know tactics, and I know the job that Carrick's done today. And it's the unsung hero thing. It's why he should be in the England team. You know, I've seen him not get picked for England squads because Scott Parker does last-ditch tackles. Carrick doesn't do last-ditch tackles because he's in the right place at the right time. It's what I call Sun player ratings from Rooney today. Oh, own goal. There's my clean sheet.
Oh, damn it! I feel more sorry for De Gea than anyone for that, and that just awards Shep the Golden Glove.
3-1. What
Smalling's got a
a
problem.
pain in the arse.
He's just stop sticking legs out. God's sake, Smalling. It's 2 own goals in the last 4 games now.
That is disappointing. That is disappointing. I had De Gea in goal, which is really bloody disappointing. But I mean, what's Smalling doing anyway? It's going well wide. I think Smalling has dropped off this season as well. At the back end of the season, I think his form's gone really, really downhill. Simon Collins is saying poor David De Gea. I think he means poor David De Gea. Yeah. Like he feels sorry for him. I don't think it was De Gea's thing. But the no Golden Glove thing's really sad. But
yeah, because he's deserved it, to be honest.
Oh, it's been fantastic.
Now you're going to have Arsenal fans gloating that Czech's better than De Gea.
Get off Twitter, everyone. Right, okay. Thanks, Callum, for coming on. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Really, really appreciate it. Do not miss the FA Cup watch-along if you're off now, because it's going to be fantastic on Saturday. I expect lots of you to watch. We've got some great prizes. We've got some great interaction. We'll be obviously doing the watch-along for the game, but we've got loads of stuff on the feed up to that. And I'm sure Callum will probably pop on if he's not busy himself. We're trying to get as many people on as possible.
I'm not busy. I'll be on.
But do the live... get my words out. I will be doing a live reaction. It won't be instant. It will be as soon as Van Gaal's done his thing. So join me for that. The link is in the video description. Thanks, everyone. What?
Will they go for a lap around the pitch first, or will they do?
I don't know. We'll have a watch.
Right, cool. See you.